Hello everybody and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is How to Train a Speedrunner, and tonight we are going to have Zone of the Enders. Before we get into that though, I do just have a few quick announcements. AGDQ 2023 Online will be January 8th to the 15th. Game submissions and event volunteer applications are now open, and they're open until the 24th of September. You can head over to gamesdonequick.com for more information on that. Also, we have Fright Fatales, which is a one-day event on October 23rd, which is to celebrate the spooky season with dark, scary, or horror-themed speedruns from the Frame Fatales community. Use !Fright in Twitch chat to learn more about this one-off event. My vocabulary is on point today, everybody. We are joined by Plywood today. How are you doing, Plywood?
Doing really well. Very excited to teach everyone Zone of the Enders.
I am very excited to learn. Do you have anything you want to go over about the run before we get into it, or do you just want to head into it?
Yeah, we'll give a little bit of a preamble here, set the stage for just like the general information of this run before we actually get into the run proper. So for those who don't know what this game is, it's Zone of the Enders, came out on PlayStation 2 back in 2001. The thing that this game is most known for is including a Metal Gear Solid 2 demo. That's why a lot of people bought this game back in the day. This had a sequel called The Second Runner. I am not teaching that. I don't know that run. Also had an anime, an OVA, and a Game Boy Advance game called The Fist of Mars. That's a strategy game. I also don't know that game, but we will be teaching the original game, which is very short. So we have two different versions of this game. You have the original PlayStation 2 version, which is what I'll be teaching tonight. And then there's the HD collection, PS3 version behind me. And that HD version came out in 2012, both for PS3 and 360. So while I'll be teaching the PS2 version, most people who run this game run the HD version. There's really only one part of the run. Well, there's the menuing and then one specific part of the run where there's actually a difference between the versions. But for the most part, like 99% of this run is the same. If you were looking to run this game, the version to run is the Xbox version. The reason for that is, and I'll give a little bit of a history behind this, the PS3 version, when it originally released, had issues. I think probably due to the fact of the PS3 architecture. A lot of people know about this kind of thing at the time. Different ports, 360 port usually had better frame rate. The PS3 version lags. It lags very significantly on a boss fight later in the run, but the 360 version doesn't. And because of the Xbox One in the series, the load times have gotten faster and faster on Xbox. So you want to run the Xbox version ideally. I don't know how exactly it shakes up between PS2 and PS3 due to the lag. I'm not too sure, but if you can run a version of this game, you want to run the Xbox version. But like I said, just because I'm running this on emulator, it's just for teaching purposes. And I really recommend learning on emulator for that purpose alone, just so you can have save states and easily practice things. So when you're on the HD version, you only have 4 saves, and that's not a whole lot to work with. Even in a game this short, that's not a whole lot. So worth mentioning all that ahead of time. As far as options, there's really not much to look at here. So you just have vibration, captions, I keep that on. So nothing too extraordinary, pretty bare bones. And for this game, we have 4 difficulties. We have easy, normal, hard, very hard. I have the world record in easy with a 2046, I believe. I will be running on normal and very hard later, but not for this stream. I recommend everyone, if you're planning on learning this game, to start with easy. Easy gives you a good sense of the mechanics of the game. A lot of the concepts of fighting will apply to the higher difficulties, and it's just way less punishing while still being very fast. So we will be doing easy tonight. That's where I recommend everyone to start. if you want to be a baller, you can run on very hard and, you know, die in 2 hits and all that, but we're not doing that today. So there is a sequel to this game, and if you've played the sequel but not the original, things are going to be a bit different. The structure of this game is more non-linear. There's even sneaking sequences, sort of like we're actually going to try to be stealthy in a few spots intentionally so we can avoid combat, and that's not really how the sequel goes. Additionally, I'll just actually show how we operate this mech rather than just talk about it. So I'm just going to go into the VR sequence here. Okay, so let's go over some basic stuff with this game. So this game does not play like a traditional 3D game would. It's an early 3D game. So we don't really control our camera with the right stick. You can, but it's pretty slow. The way it works is we turn, and if we let go of the stick, it'll wrap back around to Jehuti, which is the orbital frame or mech that we're piloting. So that's something to be aware of. Thankfully, the lock-on when you're fighting, it tries to keep a good follow on your target. So generally speaking, it's not that big of a deal. You'll just kind of be locked into fighting. But if you're used to controlling your camera with the right stick, pretend that does not exist in this game. The main bread and butter with attacking enemies in this game is our burst attacks. So the old R2 or right trigger, you'll see this charge animation. This is a burst, okay? And depending on your distance from the enemy, you see a green icon, that means you're at far range, which means we're gonna do this energy blast, spirit bomb. If we're close, we do a spin. These do really good damage, and that will be our bread and butter as far as doing damage. If we're dashing, you can do a dash shot from a distance, which isn't terribly good, but it has its uses occasionally. Or if we're up close, we can do a dash stab. Does really good knockback and pretty good damage. And of course, if we just attack, we have our little pew 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 shooter. And if we're up close, we can do a 4-hit combo. And we can interrupt this combo at any time. So we could do like 1 hit and then stop, 3, then do a burst slash. All this stuff is going to be relevant while we're doing this game. Because there's really only 2 things we do in this game: navigate and fight. There's a little bit of menuing, but it's nothing too extraordinary. And then we have boss fights, again, fighting. So, and since this is only about a 20-ish minute run, if you're starting out, probably about 30 minutes, 25 minutes, you know, mastering this this combat is pretty essential. So, burst shotting, we want to try to combo these shots together as quickly as possible. This is going to be really important throughout the whole run. And the cue you want to look at, so pay attention to Jehuti's right hand. You'll see it disappear behind the shoulder. Once it disappears behind the shoulder, immediately go back into burst and fire again. So, boom. This is something you're just going to have to practice. See, and if you time it a little bit off, you might accidentally pew pew pew. And you can see that I'm sequencing R2 into the square, right trigger into X, however you want to think about it. And just keep on going, boom, boom, boom. It does really good damage, but the windup is pretty wicked. So we'll always try to be smart when we're using this. It's pretty much our most damaging attack. It can sometimes take out enemies in 1 hit. The other cool thing you can do with those burst shots is swap at the last second. This is a burst change or a burst stance, and shifting our target at the last moment can actually screw up the enemy AI, and we'll be exploiting that specifically later on in 2 spots. So just because you're locked onto someone doesn't mean you can't unlock. Other than that, guarding, You really are only going to use this pretty much for one boss fight, but just be aware that if you guard, you cannot take a burst attack, because the enemies also can burst you, and that does a lot of damage and it breaks guard. So be aware of that. Grabbing. If you've played the sequel, you probably know that grabbing is pretty strong. You can grab weapons and enemies and fling them at each other. We can't really do anything too fancy like that in this game. The goal with grabbing is to throw them either into an enemy or into a wall, because if you throw them into a wall, they get stunned for a moment. So we can do chain throws like that, and when they hit that wall for that bonus damage, it's pretty essential. Just be aware that when you're grabbing, this rotation's pretty slow. So ideally what happens is we try to angle ourselves appropriately to whatever we're trying to throw the enemy into, right? That way we don't have to adjust for too long. Try as well when you're throwing to be straight on with the target. It's pretty common, if your angle's bad, to have the enemy slide off and not do that bonus damage, which is pretty annoying. See, like right there, even though I threw that raptor into the wall, it slid off, so be as dead on as possible. Throwing is situational, but it's particularly good in close quarters when we're like close to walls. If you're fighting out in the open, throwing isn't ideal. Other than that, dashing, you want to be constantly dashing. You do, in the sequel, people like spam it. This is slower in this game, so we're going to be always dashing unless we are rotating. So if you're trying to rotate, I'm trying to go over all the mechanics first, just to get this all clear for everyone. I'll explain it throughout, but this is a good way to dump this all onto you now. So if you're trying to spin, you will see that if you're just going in like normal walk mode, glide mode, whatever, it's pretty fast to spin. But if you're dashing, like I have to do this really wide turn. So if you're trying to 180, don't be in dash mode. Do the rotation, then dash. Okay. You can also dash up and down, so you can dive bomb or dive up. Worthwhile knowing. Besides that, should explain escaping. So sometimes we have to escape enemies. We don't want to fight. The way escaping works, you have to be viewing the enemies off screen for a certain period of time, and then they will disappear. So you can be right next to the enemies. It doesn't actually matter the distance. It's just they cannot be in the camera's view. So just try to angle your camera away from them if you have to escape, or fly away. Let the camera reset. Just fly as far away as possible if you're trying to get out. Okay, I think that pretty much covers the basics. We'll get into the enemy AI stuff as we go along, but that's the basic operations of the orbital frame.
Okay. I feel like that was pretty straightforward, and you explained everything pretty well. I don't see any questions in chat, so...
Sweet.
If anybody has any questions, now's the time.
Yeah, I'll take another sip of water if anyone has anything they want to ask about the basic mechanics before we get into the actual run.
I will still be, throughout the entire run, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll make sure to relay them.
Yeah, much appreciated. If there's things that aren't clear or you're wondering about, feel free. This game could still be explored. I've done a lot of rerouting with this category, but I think there's still room to grow, even with how short it is. You'd be surprised. You would be surprised. So just as a basic breakdown how this is going to go, there is a fair bit of luck in this run because we're going to be doing a lot of encounters. I've tried to implement consistent strats. I will let people know like the more consistent strat, the more risky strat, they can be a bit faster. But we'll try to break down every encounter. Every encounter really is its own thing. You should try to treat every fight as its own fight, every zone as its own zone, etc. I'd say the best way to classify this game is sort of like a brawler, but with fast robots. It's a brawler of fast robots. All right, so let us get going. On the PS2 version and any Japanese version, the HD collection, circle is confirm. If you're playing the HD version, Europe or North America, it'll be A or X on a PS2 controller. So just to let you know ahead of time. We have cutscenes, we'll be skipping them. Oh, I totally forgot about this. If you're wondering what version of the game is faster, like what region, it seems from my initial testing that the Japanese version is slightly faster by like at least a second, and I'll point out where that is like really soon. It's right at the start of the run. But if you are going to buy this game, get a digital download on Xbox, because you can get any region once you have a digital download and get the Japanese version. Because I believe it is it's like 0.8 faster. It might be a little bit faster on some very weird aspects. Okay, so this is the first fight of the game. We have a raptor. The thing you need to know about enemy AI in this game, we have that little level indicator, right? So they take more damage as they go higher in level, and their AI gets more advanced. So a level 1 raptor is going to be pretty passive. Once we get to like a level 5 raptor, they start actually trying to juke you. They'll try to counterattack. They'll block more often. So be aware of that. In the sequel, there's an actual health bar for every enemy. In this game, the health is consolidated into that that level indicator. So it'll slowly turn more and more red. That's how you know that you're dealing damage to an enemy that's not a boss. So raptors are actually the most annoying enemy in the game. We won't know that for a little bit, but they actually are. The first enemy we fight is the most annoying. Ideally, what you do is you go in and just immediately burst slash, and that's that spin slash. If you want to be safe and you want to stun them to keep them in position because they can start flying around, is you just do a 1 slash and then boom. See, of course, I was a little bit too far away, but basically you fly right into the middle here and then go spin. Spin has a pretty good range, so you don't have to be like right next to them, but it's better to be closer in case they try to pivot. So right after that, we skip a cutscene and then we go into VR. Thankfully, we can just immediately end training.
This is the end of the training session.
So no need to do that.
It is dangerous.
Right after that, we have to fly forward to get this Metatron, which is the healing item in the game. It'll give you a full heal, which is, we're not going to be really picking these up on easy, but if you go and run the higher difficulties, you might want to pick these up after some pretty trying encounters. So immediately dash forward after skipping that cutscene and pick this up. So that little dialogue that Ada does, the onboard computer, we have obtained the Metatron ore. That's slightly faster in Japanese, so you can skip this cutscene a little bit faster. That's that 0.8 I was referring to. Not really that important. It's not huge. I don't know if there's other things that make Japanese a bit faster or a bit slower. But I know that for sure that is a little bit slower on English. So after we pick up that Metatron, we are going to fly like this, forward over here. See this arrow indicator? We're trying to fly out of this factory. So you just fly like that, and you will be in line with the hole. We have a cutscene we can skip. You can skip practically, yeah, you can skip. I don't think there's any cutscenes that you can't skip in this game. So any cutscene you see, you can skip. I just won't be necessarily skipping them immediately for talking purposes. So this is the first like actual fight. They're actually going to try to fight us more so, these two raptors. These two fights are really annoying. There's a weird inconsistency that I don't quite understand with these first two fights, these double raptors and then the fight after this, where you may exit a little bit earlier or later. I don't know what affects that, so if you can figure that out, I appreciate it. But you can do this fight a lot of different ways. Ideally, what happens is you fly in the middle of these guys like this, and then burst slash, and they're right next to you. But and then you take them out with one spin. We try to get as many multi-hits as possible with our burst attacks, but that is completely dependent on their flight patterns. If we're trying to just be consistent about this, fly forward, slash to stun, and then boom, boom. One thing to mention as well, and I won't be necessarily explaining this or noting this throughout the run, but you can buffer your movement. So like I'm holding forward and dash, and you see Jehuti's immediately dashing. So you don't need to skip and then go. For some of them, you can't do that. And if that's the case, just hold forward and R2 afterwards once you actually see Jehuti moving. That typically is the case with like double cutscenes. Sometimes you have a cutscene, then another cutscene. But as you run the game, you'll learn some of these spots more and more, and then you can immediately start going. All these little things matter a lot in a short run. So if you want, you can also burst shot. The thing is, they can dodge out of the way, so be aware of that. These are mummy heads. This is the second enemy of the game. What I was mentioning earlier about burst shifting, moving our burst attack from one target to the other, we'll be actually doing this against the mummy heads later. Their AI is easily exploited. But we don't need to do that here. The most consistent average thing to do here is to just do burst shotting. So again, wait until the hand disappears behind the shoulder and just spam. Their flight patterns are not consistent. Sometimes they fly towards you, sometimes they just sit there. It can be faster to go run up and burst slash, but because it's inconsistent how they move and you might get hit, I just recommend doing this. One of the things you'll see if you watch the other runs historically, I do a lot more burst shotting than many runners, just because I think it's a little bit underrated. But again, we have this issue of it takes a lot of time to wind up, and if you get interrupted, it's pretty bad. So it has its pros and cons. So those are the first three fights. Very, very boring. Nothing too crazy about that. Now this is a little tricky. This is Viola, aka Nate, or Nath. The game calls it Nate, but when I looked it up, it's Nath. I don't know. We're going to be fighting her 3 times in the game, and the second time we fight her, it's the worst fight in the game. But that will be much later on. This is really simple, though, but a bit more tricky than the other stuff. We're going to fly immediately past her, and she's going to do 2 slashes. We're going to get it past her, grab her, throw her into the floor, and then after that, we either shoot her or do 1 slash. You only need to do 1 slash. So it's going to look a little something like this. So get past, let her attack. Boom. She gets the bonus damage from hitting the floor, and she's gone. That plays the same way on every difficulty. Now you can actually grab her a little bit earlier. See, I did it on 1 slash. But the safest thing to do is just wait for the double slash if you don't know the timing in between the slashes. Now, ideally, we get in a position where we can just basically immediately throw her, but the most consistent thing to do rather than doing that is just get past her, angle down, throw her into that floor. Because if you mess up the throw, let's just pretend I mess up the throw, this just gets annoying. because she likes to dash. At that point, I would just try to grab her again and then like dash slash, but don't worry about taking this really tight because you'll lose like 4 or 5 seconds if you mess that up. So fly past her, let her attack twice, boom, 1 slash or 3 shots with your pew pew pew, the pea shooter. I like calling it the pew 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 because it's do do do.
It's just a kid. I can take care
So
of
that's Viola 1. It's nothing to worry about. Immediately hold forward and dash, and we're going to get this program, which allows us to actually use the menu. So this is another training session. Immediately skip it. Okay, so now
the module.
we need to get another program that'll allow us to actually fly out of this zone.
You can save the
What we're going to do is immediately rotate following this.
we have obtained.
Before I do that, though, I do want to explain one thing about this little zone. So you see how I'm like in the cockpit? I can actually turn and rotate while she's talking. You still have control. You can use this to your advantage. I didn't show this right at the start, but after you get the Metatron, you rotate towards the exit while you're trying to skip. So be aware of that. We'll be using that little thing to save a few frames so we can just start rotating early.
The command menu.
We don't need to do that here, but it's just something worth mentioning.
The module we have.
Okay, so immediately turn and start burst shotting. So you're just going to do a 180 flip, don't dash, 180 flip,
The mo-
and then burst shot L2 to lock on to this raptor. Something that's very annoying, and I'll mention this now because it's relevant here. The burst shot can actually fly directly through the raptor. I don't know why. I don't know what the interaction with the hitbox is, but sometimes, occasionally, the burst shot will just fly through. That is just a risk inherent with it. I don't know what the bug is. I believe it also can happen on HD. It's just a bug with this game. So just be ready for that. Sometimes we just kind of roll the dice and hope things work. I haven't seen that happen with the other enemies, but it definitely happens with raptors. But it's just faster to do it like this. Boom. We're going to do 2 shots here. Now once this third burst shot flies out, I'm actually going to press L1 or LB to exit out of this fight and escape. That way I can already start manipulating the camera to where I need to go.
Allows us to select the
After we take out this group, there is going to be another group that we're trying to avoid. And I'll point it out. See that squad? We are going to sneak around this squad. This is actually a stealth game. Funny enough. So we want to get past this squad to get to the program. A thing about sneaking that I'll mention just in case people are interested in running the higher difficulties, easy, their zone of like encounter or them noticing you and getting into a fight is smaller than on the higher difficulties. So these strategies change once you get up past easy. Okay, so that being said, burst shot, boom, 2, let go, start flying over here. There is a little bridge. I have to pay attention to OBS because the cursor doesn't follow, but there's a bridge right here that kind of ends. We're gonna fly like that and then rotate like this whoop, to the program, and this will allow us to avoid getting detected. So all together. Okay. Skate down. Oops. You gotta do like a nice little circle around and grab the global command. Now that we're going to actually do a menu, worth mentioning that on PS2, this menu is worse. So we have to go down, 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 area change, move to another area. On the HD version, you just press up once and area change is right there. So on HD, you just go boom, 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 and you're done. On PS2, the menu is worse. So that's another reason why the PS2 version is slower, besides the loads and possible lag. I have not played it on anything besides emulator. So we go to area change and we leave. We got everything we need. Anytime you area change, there's going to be a cutscene of you flying out.
It is residential block.
So make sure to skip that.
Being attacked by orbital frames.
After you skip this cutscene, hold R2. You are already in line with where you're flying. This is like the world map. We select where we want to go from here. When you're flying to a target, you'll see that every area is like a square, right? And you think, oh, I just need to get in the square to interact. Nope. You want to actually fly towards the triangles, okay? So fly directly at any triangle you're trying to go to. Don't intersect with the square, you're gonna lose time. So that's how you want to craft your lines here. And just like when you're operating not in this flight mode, if you're trying to do a spin, do a 180, do it in not the dash mode, because if you're trying to do it, see how long this takes? Like I'm trying to spin fast. It's not horrible, but if you need a 180, just do that. Anyways, there's a little bit about the overworld. It's not that complicated, but it is a element of the movement in this game. So we're about to fight the first boss in the game. Don't worry, it's very easy. You should not have any problems with this boss. This is Tempest. So Tempest has a flamethrower.
You're the runner of Bravo? That frame's not.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna fly forward and start pew pew pewing. Tempest is gonna start flamethrowering. Just slowly back up. Just back up the truck. Back up the truck. Avoid the flamethrower. Just do 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 do. Tempest can't do anything. Easy peasy. Pew pew pew. Here's phase 2. Now we destroyed the helmet, and now the jellyfish is exposed. So this is very important. After you skip the cutscene, we're gonna immediately dash up and get right in his grill. Now you don't have to be exactly directly in front of him, like, you know, centimeters from his face, but you want to be close, because if you're too far away, those attacks he's charging will hit you, and you don't want that. So get up right in his grill, say hi to Tempest, boom, and then we're going to do 3 burst shots. 1, 2, 3. So make sure you're at the maximum height. If you can actually lose height from the burst shots. So if you're doing burst shots, you want to make sure on the third one, just hold triangle again to gain height. If you miss, I'll show the backup. If you screw up, it's just okay. Let's just pretend I did nothing. He's gonna fly up. Don't get hit by this. You could do a trick shot where he's landing, but you don't need to do that. I'm gonna just block. Oh, I messed it up. When he's actually flying back up, like after he's landed, you can actually shoot him while his head is missing. Screw it up. This is something that's relevant more for normal and very hard, because you can't. I don't think it's certainly not in very, very hard. You have to wait it out. Oh no, you do on normal as well. So that's more relevant on normal, but that is the backup. You want to time that shot like that. You can also do a really goofy trick shot here. Maybe I'll get it. So right after he attacks, boom, I'm gonna throw it. See? But just because you hit him early like that, he has to actually like reset his animation before he dies. So, oh, he was like 1 hit away. Okay, whatever. That is the truth though. has to actually like get back into position. So it doesn't matter if you do that trick shot thing or once he lands.
Confirmed
But-
ETA.
Okay.
On easy, just get right up in his face. Boom. As you can see, chaining these burst shots is going to be very, very important in this run. Maximize that damage. Easy boss fight. If you screw up, costs about 15 seconds. We have 2 cutscenes, and then we exit. We have another cutscene, and then 2 cutscenes. We now have Selvice, who is riding with us in our cockpit. She is Leo's friend. This will explain what we're actually doing. Our goal is to deliver this orbital frame to a spaceship outside of this colony. This military group from Mars called Bahram is trying to obtain this orbital frame because it is a very powerful orbital frame. And we are a child trying to deliver this frame to people who know what to do with it. So that is our goal. We are a delivery boy, and we're going to deliver things very fast. Why do I mention this? Well, part of the moral conundrum of this game is you could either focus on what you need to do, or you can go and save people who are being attacked. We are not going to save anyone. We are going to be very selfish and just deliver our orbital frame fast, as the onboard battle computer suggests us to do. So we will not be doing any SOS missions. They are not required at all for this run or this game.
Information from the local server.
So right after that boss fight, just ignore SOS. It's fine. They'll be okay, maybe. And just go straight to Factory 1. We're going to return to the area we just came from before that boss fight. So this one, we are going to immediately fly over here. You'll see this pattern in the ground. There's like this grate, and we're going to basically land on the edge of that. And this P2 group right here, we're going to shoot a burst shot at. Now you see this star? What this asterisk or star means is that there is a commander in this squad. If you take out the commander, all the other enemies in the squad lose all their levels and they have 1 HP. Because of that, we always want to take out the squad leader first whenever there is a commander group. So that will happen a few times in the run, but this is the first. Now, the fun thing about the burst shot is we can do it even when we're not locking on to anyone. But what that means is we need to do a little bit of calculations of the travel time of the burst shot and leader shot and all that, all that fun math stuff. So try to be consistent with your position here so you don't mess this up, because you're going to shoot it straight ahead and it can only fly so far. So boom, charge it. You see that little column in the distance? There's a column right here. You want to aim around there for the commander. And you can immediately start charging another shot. And ideally, after you land this next shot, you're going to start backing up and then do a dash shot backwards to hit the final guy. So, boom, like that. That is the ideal situation. Now, like I was saying earlier, because burst shots can fly through raptors, sometimes it doesn't go that way. But that is how it's supposed to look. So fly over here. Just boom, boom, just like that. You can fly forward and like slash or pew 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 as well. That's just the fastest way to do it. And then we're going to fly diagonally over here to this program, the Antilia info. And then we're going to immediately exit out of this area. We will not see Factory 1 anymore after this. Okay. So we're going to have 2 cutscenes here. And then immediately turn right to City 1. We are flying to City 1 just to be like, we can't do anything here because we need a sniper rifle, an ancient sniper rifle from like the 21st century to shoot through this barrier. So you come here, you skip your cutscenes, and then you immediately leave. Very fun. But Town 2, this is where things get a little bit spicy. Town 2 is actually a stealth sequence. Ideally, this is a stealth sequence. And you see these little jars? These are called porters. We need to destroy every porter in this town. And that will unlock a chest. It's called a vector trap, and it's going to be right over by those downed robots. Now, these two mummy heads do a patrol, and you can see their patrol routes. Now, boom, boom. We're trying to avoid these mummy heads and that patrol route and just basically thread the needle and pick up the porter, or not the porter, the vector trap, so we can get the sniper rifle. How we're going to do this, you may ask. Well, immediately skip these cutscenes, because if you don't, the porters are already starting to fly. They're on a path, so they will float on their path during that cutscene. So you want to skip that as soon as possible. This is going to take some practice. So that bush that I'm flying to, that bush, we're going to land around that bush, do a like 170-degree turn, and try to hit 2 porters with 1 burst shot. So like that. I was a little bit off. That's okay. Let's see if I can get this lined up. So this porter in the distance, you can't really see very well on the emulator. If you're playing the HD version, they actually will show pretty easily on the trees, at least on the series. So this isn't quite like the wild shot it's going to look, but you're basically going to throw it through the tree directly in front of you. So let's try to do this all together. Fly over here. Boom. So like straight ahead through this tree, you will hear like a click if it works. So let's just see if that worked. You'll hear it. So you'll hear pew. So if you hear pew, that means you hit the porter. These are the porters that are really important that you don't screw up. That one far away, because we really want to hit that one. So after you hit this porter, we're going to fly up here. And we're going to shoot like that. Now, you want to hit the porter, but I'm actually hitting that traffic light. Now, this is optional, but it's ideal. And this will become relevant later. I won't explain this right now, but you want to destroy that traffic light. We're angry at traffic engineers in this game, so we're going to destroy the traffic light. If ideal. So like boom, boom, boom. If you don't, it's okay. Fly over here. There's like a little driveway. Again, they use like Honda Civics in 2173 or whatever, so they still drive on 4 wheels. So you're gonna land over by this driveway. And they even have them in orbit around Jupiter. Like that's how special those Civics are. They kept them that long. 99 Honda Civic. But yeah, you're gonna land over here and see you can get this nice, cute little bank shot on both of those targets. And then that's all the porters. After that, we are going to sneak. We're going to be a sneaky little robot. So boom. If the lineup isn't fine, like it's okay. We're actually bottlenecked here. We can't go immediately to the porter, or not the porter, the vector trap, which you can see right here on the map. We can't go there yet because this patrol route needs to get closer to the edge. This patrol route needs to start flying away. So we're going to position ourselves over between these 2 houses. And you can actually see, if you have your camera angled correctly, you can see the mummy heads. You basically want to see them like going next to the traffic signal that's down by that intersection, and then you're going to fly like directly over that downed lev,
We have obtained
that
the item.
mecha suit, and hit the porter. Now, you have a little bit of time. You can see there it finally activated. So you have some time, but you don't want that to happen because we have to sit here and wait to escape or run away. Like, let's say you get the sniper rifle and then they activate, you have to like fly away and it loses time. So ideally, it all happens super fast. Fast enough that you can hit the cycle and avoid them. So let's do it all together. This is like the first like technical movement part of the run. And aiming is important. Aiming with the right stick, of course. So rotate.
Surroundings increasing due to battle. We have destroyed a portal.
This is a very awful camera angle. So I whiffed. That happens.
Destroyed a portal.
You just kind of have to
We have destroyed a portal.
fly into this group,
Battle position
hit them.
has been released. Enemy backup forces are
This is why this is awful. At least on easy.
battle position. We will hold
You really don't want to miss. So this is another part that's just going to take a bit of practice.
have obtained the item.
And then you exit. Weird thing, like if you escape from a battle, like the group will disappear for a while. Something interesting to mention, more relevant on the higher difficulties. So we exploit that in this area, but let's see if we can do this all together.
The surroundings increasing due to battle. We have destroyed a portal.
Nice, okay. Try not to get your camera behind the tree. And then boom,
Destroyed a portal.
beautiful.
Vector trap has been
We can
released.
wait, fly over, boom.
We have obtained
We have the sniper, immediately leave. Sweet. Okay. Then we're going to immediately go to city. To switch between your weapons, go up and down on your D-pad. So boom, boom, boom. We need the sniper rifle to shoot the targets in City 1. Okay. So this tube has targets on it. It's already rotating in this cutscene, so make sure to skip immediately. On PS2, seems pretty normal, but on the HD version, you can shoot through the tube, or the shaft, as it's called in the game. You can shoot through the shaft and hit a target on the other side. So the aiming is completely different on HD because of that. A really nice thing about the sniper rifle as well, there's a very, very generous auto aim. So you don't have to be 360, no scope, elite sniper, none of that stuff. You can just kind of shoot in a general area, which is very good. We're just going to try to spam our shots as fast as possible. Well, given that it's the PS2 version. So, boom, boom, boom. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. And then boosh. Then you leave.
You can see
All right, now we have unlocked a new set of areas, EPS. It's the extra power supply, I believe. We're going to be taking out these antennas and taking out their generators. First place we're going to go is EPS 2. I'm going to actually lay this out. So we go EPS 2, Town 1, EPS 1, Town 2, EPS 2. So it goes 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. Okay, so go to EPS 2 first. And we are going to fly to the right, 2 cutscenes, exit out of this fight immediately. There is a, if I can show it, see this like little angle here? That's the angle you want to fly at.
we will hold battle position.
There's a road. We are going to rotate into this tunnel. It is a very tricky movement, especially if you're dashing. You have to give yourself enough room to rotate. So be aware of that. See if I can show that one more time, just because it's a little awkward. It's one of the harder little movements in the game. So that angle at this like diagonal part in the rock, rotate down, and then boom, beautiful. Skip 2 cutscenes there, fly it to this wall, 2 cutscenes, skip it, rotate, fly back out. We need to go take out some Cyclops. They're like boxers. We're finally going to fight some Cyclops. They only do melee attacks, so they're actually pretty easy to manipulate. So fly over this rock and fly to these Cyclops. Escape from that battle. Okay, so we're going to explain Cyclops a little bit. We have a group of 3. They can actually ruin your day. So don't underestimate these guys. They will screw you up if you let them, especially on the higher difficulties. But they have no long range attack. They can burst attack you, but it's all, you know, putting up the dukes. So we can do manipulation and work around their attacks, especially their little combo. They'll get into a combo, right? They'll get into a combo, they'll fly forward, and you can just like fly backwards, fly back in a little bit, burst slash, boom. They're still in their combo, they get hit, boom. Taking a big hit to the noggin, all right? But we fly into them and just kind of wait. Let them come to us. Slash, boom, boom. There's a level 3 here, which we want to burst slash twice. The level 2s, we can do a burst slash into a dash slash. Okay, but ideally they just kind of like fly into us and we just burst slash them. But sometimes they're just mean. They can also grab you, and you can interrupt the grab. Let's see if that could. Well, I need to like get like one of them alive because I don't want to get screwed up here. Okay, can you grab me? No, I'll just block. When they grab you, you can actually get out of the grab. Come on, grab me. Grab me. He just wants to punch me. Just trust me, folks. They can grab you. But you can see, like, see how I can just back up? So even if they hit me, I can back up. Like, oh, and then there we go. You see how he grabbed me? I can still burst slash him while he's trying to pull me in. So don't be like, oh no, I got grabbed. Get ready. Like, you can counterattack or get out of the way. Thank you for finally agreeing with me, Cyclops. It's like he's just gonna punch me and we're gonna be here all night. All right. But yeah, back up a little bit, burst slash if they're doing that combo. So you just fly into them, let the fight activate, wait. And you can see, like, this spin. If they're around you, they're gonna get hit. Boom, dash stab. It's a level 2, finish them off. And then you get that passcode. I'll show this off because this is relevant. See, but if you do it a little bit too late, you'll get thrown. And if you get thrown into a wall, that also does bonus damage, so watch out. Okay, there we go. So I can't leave the area yet, you can see. I have to wait. You're gonna see that triangle. Once that triangle disappears, you can leave. So I'm just gonna keep on spamming. There we go. So you see it disappear, now you can leave the area. So just wait on that. This game is timed RTA, so don't waste your time spamming pause for the perfect frame. It's not worth it. All right, so we get our passcode. And now we fly to Town 1. So again, EPS 2, Town 1. And to a pretty annoying fight in this game. It's the triple mummy fight. Now, we do have a pretty good strategy for this, but it's not a 100% consistent thing, but it's faster than the old strat. So there's 2 cutscenes, then dash forward. This triple mummy at the end is our target.
Colony damage increasing due to battle.
They do not move. They don't do anything until you fly close. You want to stop just short of this little passenger bridge, because of course they have that in the future. They still have passenger bridges, not jetpacks. And then you're going to stop right here, and then you're going to do a burst shot. Okay, and we're going to hit this mummy. So what I was talking about 30 minutes ago or whatever about burst shifting, changing your target, is what we're going to be doing here. So we're going to be rotating between these targets, just keeping them occupied with burst shots. Because if you get in the middle of them, I'll show this, you're going to get screwed up. Because they're just going to all beam you. And yeah, you're not going to really be able to fight this laser light show. So don't do that. Even on easy, that can kill you.
The module we have obtained
Oops.
allows us to select the command menu by pressing the start.
There we go. Okay. So let's make sure I don't mess up my save states. Okay. So we're going to be quickly burst shotting between them. Wind up your shot, switch targets. Wind up your shot, switch targets. Wind up your shot, switch targets. Now, the thing that gets weird about this is that they can fly in all different kinds of ways. And if they intersect, they get close to each other, that's when things get annoying because their lasers can block your shot. So ideally what happens is they all just stay spread out. So just try to get your shots off as quickly as possible here. So this is good, see? And then I just need to spin slash once and boom. If done right, it saves about 7 seconds over the old strat. It's not completely consistent. Now you could like take out one target first, but the problem is that third one can come in and ruin your day. We're trying to keep them all occupied. So just keep on rotating between them. And the reason why we stop at this passenger bridge is because we don't want to interact with the other group behind us. Because if another squad shows up, we can't leave. We have to escape the fight. But if we don't interact with them once we take out that one group, then we can just immediately leave once we get the passcode. So that's how we do that sequence. Now we have our passcodes. And we are going to go to EPS1, which is pretty similar to EPS2, but not quite. So 2 cutscenes here. Immediately turn right. See these trees? We're going to fly directly over these trees, like that. And we're going to go into this tunnel. And that movement is tricky. It's just going to take practice. Okay, so this is a gauntlet sequence. We're going to be fighting one-on-one with mechs, these robots in these tunnels. And there's strats for every single one. One-on-one fighting, not so bad. So this is the first one. This one's really easy. So you see this threshold. See, the gates close. We got to fight. Well, that's great because I actually can exploit that to my advantage, especially for this fight. So we're going to enter, immediately start charging a burst shot. Boom, that guy's done. Then immediately start flying forward. Don't take the turn. This next one's a mummy head. Another very simple fight. Fly straight ahead, grab, throw, boom, dash, stab, done. And then you just fly out through that gate. One thing that you will notice is that depending on whether you get a pickup or not, like you can get repairs, which gives you a little bit of health. That will actually prevent the gate from rising up I think some of them are always going to happen with the Metatron, but some of them with the repairs don't. It's just pure luck. There's like, I think the way it works is just there's like a frame counter constantly going throughout the game. Like, do you get a repair? Yes or no? Do you get a repair? Yes or no? And if that happens, you have to wait for it and then the gate will raise. So you just lose a little bit of time if that happens. So throw this guy, boom, boom, fly in. Very simple. Now we have a Cyclops. We're gonna fly it. Oh, he actually went for a grab. That's funny. Fly it like right at that grate line, and then you can do a spin into a dash. So, boom, boom, like that. You can also go for a burst shot here, but he gets right up in your grill. I don't particularly like it. So I prefer going like right around there, wait for him to come to you, boom. Here's a fun little movement thing. We're gonna take out this generator. It's very tight space, so skip the cutscene, and then you're gonna do a dash shot into the generator. A dash shot, not a chart, not a burst shot, not a pew pew pew, a dash shot. So boom, skip the cutscene, and get out of there. You just do a little rotation, up and out. You can skate if you want, or fly. Just try to cut your corners as well as you can. Okay, now we're going, we take that that turn we, at the very start that we skipped, we're gonna take this turn now, okay? So, we're gonna fight another Cyclops. So it's pretty much the same deal. Boom, boom. So that's what I'm talking about, random repairs. I think you lose like a couple seconds. It's not fun. Holding left to start rotating, you see? And then we skip and rotate, just like that. Just a little trick. Okay, so this mummy head is a bit interesting. We have a really risky strat that saves about a half a second, but doesn't always work, and a more consistent strat that loses about half a second. So we're gonna start with the burst shot, fly in. Oops, didn't fly directly out. Let's try that again. So if you get right up in his face, the cool thing is the gate is not actually a wall, but he'll slide on the gate and then hit the wall like that threshold or whatever around the gate. So he'll slide on that, get the bonus damage, then you dash stab. I really like this. I actually came up with this today. This just looks really cool. So you go boom, boom, slash, done. It's a little bit slower than doing this. Boom. Okay, sometimes the mummy head will block the dash stab. I think it might be a timing thing, but that's half a second faster than doing that grab. The other strat, show this. Oops, not like that. We'll go boom, slash boom, and then dash stab. Just like that. Okay. And one more fight. Throw this guy into the wall. Boom. Very simple. Very simple sequence. Do I have... Yes, so I'll just show it all together. Burst. Shot into that guy. Run in. Throw. Boom. Dash stab. Hopefully don't get random repair. Go to this line. Charge. Burst slash into the dash slash. Do a dash shot on the generator. Right around here. If you ever get weird with the camera here, just let go of the stick and let the camera follow back behind. Again, it is not intuitive if you play modern games, but it works okay. And honestly, the zones in Zone of the Ender. I can't believe I just did that. That was completely unintentional. Are pretty simple. There's not a whole lot of complex geometry. This was originally going to be a Dreamcast game, so. First shot. Boom, boom. I love that. It just looks so cool. All right. And then we head on out. We got everything we need, and we just have to destroy the other generator. But there's a microwave wall that if we pass that, our pilot and our friend will cook, so we're not going to do that. Instead, we were going to retrieve a robot and control it remotely, which is pretty fun. So we're actually going to play as a raptor for a little bit. We're going to fly to Town 2 and once again sneak. Now, what I was talking about earlier in Town 2 where I was like, shoot the traffic light. This is why. It's this area. So we're going to fly directly at a tree. So this tree, fly like straight dead on or a little bit to the right, and then fly into this raptor. So that little line, damage to the surroundings increased due to battle. You can't actually skip the cutscene until she's done saying that line. Now, there are two groups there that can destroy. There's the group that's going basically the path we went the first time we went here, and there's a traffic light that they can destroy. And then there's a group, this group can destroy stuff over there. Now, sometimes that group, I think, just doesn't shoot, and then it's okay. But the other group can hit the traffic light. They can. So ideally, the first time you hit here, you take out that traffic light just to hedge your bet a little bit. It's not 100% because I'm not going to go fly over there on a dice roll, but it's something to help a little bit. So if it happens, it happens. It's like, I don't know, 3 seconds or something. It depends on when the line of dialogue happens.
Colony damage increasing due to battle.
So you can't skip it until that happens. Okay. Same path. We're back at EPS 2, so, or EPS 2. I just say EPS because, I don't know, it's faster than saying EPS. So fly straight through this tunnel, skip the cutscene, and then dash again. So the raptor, I'll go over the raptor. So the raptor has a 3-hit combo. It shoots javelins. These are worthless. Don't use these. It has this. It's called the Bounder. It can be okay. And then it has a burst slash and a 3-hit combo. So for this first group, or this first raptor, fastest thing is to fly in and do this, but sometimes the raptor will dash away or something. So you can do this, the 3-hit combo, a little bit slower, a bit more consistent, or do that. So unlike the first time we went through these tunnels in EPS 1, we're actually going to take the other path immediately. We need to go get a program that allows us to see things that are hidden. So fly this way, and we're going to fight a Cyclops. Now you can like bound and then burst slash. What I like to do is stand right here, boom, boom. That's a dash stab. They also have this. This is the geyser. Don't bother with this. Just don't use the only range thing worth anything for the raptor is the Bounder, which is that burst shot. So right there. Cyclops playing me dirty, blocking. And see, sometimes they just want to mess with you. That's okay though.
We have obtained the program.
Okay, turn around, and you can see, ooh, hidden porters. But we're not gonna shoot them. Yeah, time for that. Okay, we're gonna fight a mummy head. So fly in. You can do it like that, or dash stab, 1, 2, 3. Now you could burst slash, but timing is pretty tight, and even then, like, you see that didn't actually take it out, so boom, and then 1, 2, 3. That third hit does a lot of damage. That's the moneymaker. Okay. And now we're gonna fight one more Cyclops. So this Cyclops can be a bit more annoying. Sometimes he just kind of floats in the back. So you can do a bounder, but you see, like, this 3-star loves to be mean. So you can do like 2 burst slashes into it. This is the same fight, but that guy, he likes to mess with you. It's very annoying. I don't recommend doing a combo here because you see he likes... That can happen with the higher level guys. They'll deflect you. They'll parry. They'll parry. They'll parry. And it looks cool, but it's very slow because we're not doing damage. No one's doing damage. We're just tying. And not fun. So fly in right around there. Do either 2 burst slashes into a 2 burst slashes or a burst slash into a dash slash. Okay. Fly. Try to fly like in the middle of this hallway. It doesn't have to be dead set, but don't be too high, don't be too low. Just be like right in the middle. Nice little sweet spot. Burst shot. Fly in. Boom. Ugh. See, I'm telling you folks, this area is annoying. It's very cramped. Just fly directly down and then another bounder.
Destruction of the emergency EPS generator is confirmed. The EPS.
So let's do that all together. So I find the correct save state. There we go. Okay, so let's do it all together. So take it easy. Triple. Fly over here. Charge. Boom. This sequence is also pretty similar between the difficulties. Like, you're a level 4 raptor and they all, I think, have the same health, but don't quote me on that. It's very similar. Get that module. Dash slash. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Like I said, that third slash is the big deal. Don't worry about the little ones. Once again, stop around here. Let him fly in. Sometimes he wants to be annoying. He wants to have a little bit more screen time. Good for him. All right, and then boom. Fly down. Boom. And that's the generator. Very important right here. Dash forward and get the sniper ammo. Don't worry. All the enemies are gone for some reason. I don't know why. They're just gone, so don't worry. Very important, not easy, that we pick up this ammo. We're going to be using this ammo. Not only is it a safety mechanism in case we miss during the sniping sequence, but we are going to be using this ammo at the very end of the game. It costs like 4 seconds, but I assure you, it is going to be worth it. So right after you get out of EPS 2 with the Raptor, dash forward, and just hold it straight into this ammo that we got earlier. Okay. And now go back to EPS 2. This is the last time we're going to see these tunnels, I swear to you. We're actually about halfway through the run right now. It's about the halfway point.
We will hold battle position. We will cease battle position.
All right. So we're flying back in here because that Raptor we were controlling has that stealth module, and we need that. It has the program. We need to get the program back. So we're going to fly in here, and we're going to fight this Raptor that is now level 5 for some reason. I haven't really been talking about leveling. It's not that important, but as you gain in level, you do a little bit more damage. Don't worry about it, but what's really relevant is the enemy levels. The enemy levels matter a lot because this Raptor ain't gonna play like those level 1 raptors that were just like, I'm just hanging out. This guy's actually gonna try to counter. He's gonna try to block. We can't just willy-nilly grab him. He'll be like, no, you're not grabbing me. So you have to think about these kind of like as a new enemy, right? So when we enter this arena, it's just gonna like suddenly happen, boom. The gates aren't gonna come down because it's a stealth raptor, see? So once you get past this gate, you're gonna burst shot. And hopefully land it. Sometimes it doesn't work that way, but boom, and then boom. That is the easiest and most consistent thing to do, is just do 2 burst shots, but sometimes this guy will throw you for a loop. If you want to be a little bit easier about it, I guess, well, or not worry about the second burst shot, you can do something like this. So generally speaking, from what I've seen with these level 5 raptors, if you start pew-pew-pewing them, they'll block. But if you come in fast enough, while they're blocking, you can start slashing. So boom, 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 boom. Actually, since we're here, I'll try to explain level 5 raptors, and then I don't have to do it later, because these guys are really annoying. So, like I said, it's kind of hard to grab them. Like, that, it worked there. It's easier to grab them when they're shooting, but not so easy when they're up close. So don't rely on grabs with level 5s. If you're trying to do a burst slash, they will fly out of the way. Now they can actually, like, if they're in a corner, sometimes they will dash in such a way that they still get hit by it. So you try to burst slash them while they're cornered, if possible. Otherwise, the most consistent thing that I've found in trying to keep them in place, if you're trying to burst slash them, is to do a 3-hit combo. So 1, 2, 3, count it out loud. So that guy actually tried to dodge out of the way. Typically, they'll just kind of sit there. They can get out of the way, but usually if you do 3, a 1, 2, 3 burst slash, they'll hang out. You can do with less combos, so like a 2 slash or a 1 slash, but in my experience, it's less consistent. But count it out. You know, and it's 1, 2, 3. Not all of them have to land, but just think about that 3rd hit, because you can't do it after the 4th. It's a 4-hit combo, so you see, I can't burst slash after that. Oh, another thing, you'll see this. So if I go for the dash stab, they'll block. They love to block if you're dash stabbing. The best thing to do about that is either wait for them to attack and then you can counterattack with a dash stab, or just go for 2 in a row, because then that'll work. Well, that guy actually was attacking, but still. These level 5s also can do a burst slash. That is a lot of damage. Let's see if I can get him to do it. Oh, he's grabbing me. Well, that's cute. Oh, he's doing something right. Come on, just burst slash me. Burst slash me. Well, it can happen, and it can do a lot of damage, so be careful about that. And when they do the burst slash, there's like a period of time where they're like you can't hit them. So be very careful about that. All right. For this guy, 2 burst shots. See what I mean? Like sometimes the 2 burst shots fails because he actually hits. 2 burst shots. If you want to be, see, there you go. He did a quarter of my life. If you're on very hard, that does like 75% of your life. It's very, very devastating. Yeah, very devastating. So yeah, 2 burst shots, a burst shot into 2 dash slashes, or a burst shot, pew pew pew, and then a quad combo. All right. Yeah, very hard, very spooky, very spooky. We get out of the tunnel and we exit. You cannot area change while you're in a like tunnel zone, so. All right. Folks, we're now fully into the latter half of the game. Very exciting. We want to fly towards the mountain arrow, but we're not going to mountain yet. You're going to get a cutscene. We're going to skip it. Then we're going to get 2 cutscenes, skip those, and then leave this area. We cannot fight this enemy yet. We cannot fight Tyrant. We have no health, and we don't have a sub-weapon we absolutely need for this, so immediately just leave. You can't fight. We are infected with a virus, which leaves us with 1 HP. Any attack will kill us. Scary, but we're only going to fight 1 enemy throughout this whole thing. So we're going to go to Factory 2. Now, when we go to Factory 2, we are going to snipe porters. This is to get ammo for a sub-weapon called the Decoy, which we need to fight Tyrant. Now, you can snipe later than this. However, it's ideal to do it now. Reason being is that the cycles on the squads is better for the sniping, and we can take a faster line to the ammo for the decoy. There is a downside to this, though. Because we're at 1 HP, and we do have to fight a unit, we snipe first and we go fight the unit. If you die to the unit, you're losing a lot more time than if you just flew straight to the unit. So, arguably in a marathon setting, it'd be better to snipe second, but if you're just doing attempts, snipe first. Just snipe first, because you don't want to die to this raptor anyways, right? And it's just better overall for the sniping and for visiting this factory to do it now. Okay, so this part is going to be some fun, tricky shooting. Use your right stick to adjust a little bit and left stick to adjust a lot. 2 cutscenes, and then we're going to rotate over here. So we are going to, you're going to see there are 2 in a line right here, very close to each other on the other end of the map. The sniper will hit these, but you cannot shoot these one after the other. There's some weird thing about like the bullet travel time that we can't actually hit these right after each other and just sit there and go pew, pew without waiting. Don't wait. We want to keep on shooting. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4. But we're going to hit this one in between another one. You want to hit this one in the back in between or as the last one, whatever. But don't try to hit these 2 in a row. You're going to have to sit there and wait. Okay? So let's do it. 1, 2, 3. See, the auto aim is very generous. Don't, you just have to be, in the neighborhood. Don't worry about it. And then you hit those 2 porters. Then we have other porters here. So we're going to rotate here, go boom, boom. Try to get these 2. You see these squads? You can actually accidentally snipe a squad. This is why we do this the first time we visit this area. These squad lines are better than the second squad lines. So I'll try to do this all in sequence so you can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, rotate. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Fly forward. It doesn't have to be exactly in that order, but the timing of those 2 that intersect those squads, you basically want to hit them around that time. Okay, it's okay if you miss. Don't worry about it. You have extra ammo. If you didn't pick up that sniper ammo, heaven help you, you should have done it. But since we have that ammo, it's okay. It's not that brutal. We fly directly for this tunnel. Now, if you've seen other runs, logically you would think, I should hug a corner if I'm trying to enter a room, right? Not in this game. oddly enough, and I learned this today, this tunnel zone, the load zone is actually like a triangle. So the tip of it is closer to you than like the edges. So you don't want to hug the corner. I'll show this. Well, I don't need to show it, but just fly directly in the middle. Don't hug the corners. So when you're going like this, just fly like that. Boom. Okay? Just something to mention. It's literally like a frame saver, but you know, why not? Okay. We have a virus. This fight, if we screw up, will kill us. No matter what difficulty you're on. So this is a little sketchy. What we're gonna do, fly up and back. Slash, burst slash, okay? Boom, like that. Now sometimes this raptor try to play fastball with you and dodge. If that happens, be on your toes. Do not sit around because it doesn't matter if it's javelin or whatever, that'll kill you. So this, boom. And then you get the vaccine password. And then we get our health back, thankfully. So boom. See, he give me the slip. Okay, whatever. Don't freak out, because that javelin will kill you. He likes to throw javelins and snipe you. And then we go for this one on the right. End up in the middle here and rotate, boom, fly out of here, and done. As you fly out, turn to the left, skip that fight if that happens, and go over here. Don't turn to the right because that is slower. You're turning to the left, which would be counterclockwise, and flying around like, pointer, like this. Whee! Okay. Straight to this decoy ammo. Thankfully, we can pick up the ammo. And the game's just like, you have ammo, but I can't tell you what it is yet. It is unknown. We will get the decoy access very soon. All right, banger alert for anyone who likes some banging music. City 2 has some quality music. This fight is not quality. This fight's kind of annoying, but the music's good. We are going to fly in between the buildings here. There's a level 5 raptor. Now this level 3, we can actually throw into the wall and do that. Or you can do like a slash and do a burst slash, but you can throw that raptor into the wall. This one, and we're gonna do one, try to do, come on, 1, 2, 3, boom. So do something like that. Again, remember that block strat with the pew pew pew. You can do that as well. So in between the buildings, be aware that there is a squad right. This squad, careful that you're not over here because you could interact with this squad right here and cause yourself to have to fly away. Or they can interact in the fight and that's a real pain. So try to avoid that. So you can just go for a naked slash, but sometimes that guy flies out of the way. Just be aware. Like, you can play it more risky, but I wouldn't recommend it. Especially starting off. There's no need to go for anything crazy or fancy. Yeah. And the truth of the matter is, once we get to Viola 2, you will see why a lot of this stuff, don't sweat it. Don't sweat the small stuff, okay? So this one, we need to immediately turn right to Town 3. This stuff is all very close together, our locations. Town 3 is interesting. This one is luck dependent, and it's the drop. So sometimes you get that repair. Well, earlier that was bad. Here it's actually good. We want the repair drop because that allows us to set up for our squad that we're gonna fight. So fly it over this bridge. You see right here, there's like in between, there's like this traffic line right there. We're gonna end up right here, okay? So fly over there. You can hold dash here, boom. Stop here, burst shot. Hit that raptor, it'll die in one hit. Nice and clean. Okay, now we have a Cyclops. So you know the drill. Do 2 spin slashes, ideally, because otherwise it's a spin and 2 dashes. So boom, let this guy fly in. Like, this is where you start seeing like how to flow the Cyclops. Try to get him close, edge him a little bit. Now you see this squad. That's the squad that's going to appear after we take out this squad we just took out. We have to take out both. This group is invisible. And if we get the repair, that's good because then we can set ourselves up for a very nice burst slash. But sometimes that doesn't happen. So it didn't happen this time. If that's the case, this fight's just going to be a little bit more messy. You can throw this the raptor in or just go for burst slashes on Mummy Head. Boom. Fortunately, I didn't hit the wall. It's okay. Then burst slash dash slash into that Cyclops. Let's try and get the... Oops. Yeah, it's fine. Let's try and get this repair drop so I can show it. I want to show it. It's just, you know, it's just pure luck whether you get it or not. It's like a 50-50. Basically what happens is, I know how to do this. I can play this with the menu. Nope. Come on. We just wait out the timing. There we go. So if this happens, we can get right up on this wall, hold the charge, wait until they spawn. You're going to lock on, spin slash, you're going to hit 3 of them at once. Beautiful. And then you just go in and clean them up. I didn't hit this guy, but that's the idea. Well, I did hit this guy, so you can see why the repair is nice, but it doesn't always happen. If it does happen to you, recognize it. Keep in mind as well, this squad, this level 5, I'm trying to point at it, this level 5 can interrupt you while you're fighting this squad down here, so try to stay over here. Don't fight over here in this intersection, especially not in the higher difficulties, but don't do that on easy, okay? And then we have our 2 passcodes, flip over, and we're going back to factory. Okay? So you could snipe here, don't do it. It's less ideal. We're gonna just immediately start flying forward. And we're gonna go get our decoy. Decoy is super underrated. If you look at the other easy runs, it is a very good item. And we're gonna be exploiting it quite a bit in the final areas of the game. Okay, so this is going to be a level 5 raptor. Same kind of start. 1, 2, 3, boom. This guy is trying to like skate away. Pretty annoying. But if you've seen one level 5 raptor fight, you kind of know the deal.
We have obtained the program.
Fly to the side. Again, remember that it's... if you're thinking about it from the perspective of when you enter, the one on the left is the one you do first, and the one on the right is what you do on the second trip, okay? Don't mix those up, because if you hit the wrong thing, she'll be like, we need the passcode. So don't hit chests that you can't open yet, okay? And then we exit, making sure to fly down the middle to save frames, and then just immediately leave, because we already have our ammo, okay? We are actually getting into endgame, folks. You don't need to switch the decoy now, but you are going to need the decoy for this fight. All right. So this is Tyrant. Not too bad on easy. You are going to fly forward, switch to your decoy. Pew, 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 pew. Decoy. Then you can just do 2 burst shots right here in a row, and then you've already done enough damage to get to phase 2. You don't need to do 2 burst shots. It's just good practice if you ever run the higher difficulties because you need to do more burst shots here. Just make sure you're far enough away from the laser beam lock-on thing. So just a little bit away, and then you can do a boom, boom. But you don't need to do 2. It's not required. You could do 1, and then Tyrant's going to do it again, and you can do another one, but whatever. Now we just wait. Avoid the lasers. We need to decoy twice, even though, like, why didn't I just go here after I cleared the virus? You cannot go to phase 2 without decoying twice, even though we could take the laser. So, unfortunately, that's just not something we can do. So after this laser lands, you're going to see a flash on screen. After that flash, we're going to be floating pretty close to the Tyrant, and then just pew, pew, pew. So, pew, 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 and then we're going into phase 2. So, it's getting serious. We're going to fly directly into the Tyrant, and then fly diagonally while flying up towards this arm, okay? And you want to get at least into the middle of the arm. Don't go to the tip because you might get lasered, okay? So try to get deeper into the arm, shoot while you're doing it. Walk and chew gum, okay? Don't just fly over there because you're going to have to shoot later if you don't. Oops, my angle's a little bit weird. All right, so fly directly into it. Pew, pew, pew. Burst shot, burst shot. You see how it's getting knocked back? That's why you want to be a little bit deeper so you don't get lasered. If you do get lasered, you can still get your burst shots in, hopefully. Otherwise, what you'd have to do is tank another one of his, Toro charge attacks and then do it again. But ideally, just fly right into the guy. Pew, pew, pew. Boom. Boom, that's Tyrant. Well, missed a shot, whatever. If you miss a shot, just pew, pew, pew afterwards. It's all good. And Leo's like, did I do that? Yeah, you did. Afterwards, just hold right trigger. You'll fly straight forward. You skip 2 cutscenes here. Again, hold right trigger and you'll fly into Mountain. Mountain is where things get completely linear. We're going to be fighting some enemies and then we're going to do a boss rush. End of the tunnel, folks. All right, Mountain. So, we're going to do navigating in these canyons. If there was an out of bounds, this would be a very good place to do it because that is where our exit is. There might be a way to go out of bounds with the mummy weapon. Please, if someone can find an out of bounds in this area, I'd really appreciate it. We could probably save like 30 seconds here, even more on the higher difficulties. So, but with that being said, let's show how to just do Mountain as normal. So, you see that crack? I'm aiming at it right here. We're gonna fly directly at that, okay? And once we get to that spot, we're gonna charge a burst shot. These fools are gonna just fly into me. Sometimes the Raptor is close enough that you get a 2-for-1 deal. That's pretty slick, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Didn't happen this time. That's okay. Right after that, we're going to burst slash the Raptor. One thing to mention now that we're deeper into the run, a little bit of an advanced technique that you'll see me try to implement in the Mountain is after you take out an enemy, feel free to lock on to the next, okay? Or let go of the lock on entirely. If you know the enemy's dead, you can just switch to your next target and reorient your camera so you're not getting confused. Pretty useful here, especially because these are close quarters and enemies can start flying behind you and all that. Now, ideally, this mummy head is just gonna sit here like a good customer. Sometimes the mummy head will fly behind you. Oh well. Fly in, you're gonna do 2 slashes. So 1, 2, and then a burst spin. Okay, so like this. Boom. See, he's flying towards me. That's okay. Sometimes you'll get a repair, sometimes you won't. Oh well. Now here, this ammo is decoy.
We have obtained the item.
Now, if you were a TAS, you probably wouldn't pick this up, but as a human being, this is very worth it. The decoys are super good. Remember, these are not pilots we're dealing with. These are robots. They see a decoy, they're like, so because of that, we can make them very dumb and exploit that. And we're going to exploit that throughout this whole mountain. Okay? You don't necessarily need a decoy for every one of these encounters. Technically, you go without, but I assure you, it just makes life a lot more consistent and typically more fast. So pick up this ammo. And then we have a wall here, okay? If you're right on the ground, I don't think this is gonna work. So you need to just do a little baby tap, okay? A little baby tap up, boom. You're immediately gonna turn to the right, all right? Fly like this. We're gonna try to cut our corners, you know, not fly through the canyon. Fly over the canyon, okay? Get those nice clean lines. Decoy. They're all going to just look at the decoy, and I'm gonna take out this mummy head who's the commander. We're gonna do a slash, burst slash, slash, burst slash, okay? So 1, 2, 1, 2. Sometimes it will block a slash. Just note that and do a double on the next one, okay? After we take out this fool, well, his friends are pretty weak now, so we're just going to relock on and attack, all right? So, boom, boom. All right. So this part is pretty interesting. We can do some funky stuff here, some funky, fresh stuff. If we get a repair, that'll change our strat versus if we don't.
We have shot down the enemy.
So you see this laser? That was the 4th laser. And we are perfectly in line with this crack. And we can burst shot even while the wall is up. Because we can't fly through, but we can shoot through. So, ideally, if you get that repair pickup, you go like this. And then boom while you're waiting, because you have nothing else to do. And you want to get in line with that 4th laser. You can be a little bit higher up, tiny bit below, but around that 4th laser on the right side, okay? Along that y-axis, that height. And you can get that easy shot.
We have shot down the enemy.
Let's see if I can show that off really fast. So you see, that is a-okay. That was a little bit lower. Now, if you don't get the repair, because you're a special runner, get nice and close to this wall, but not super close, because if you're really close, the shot may miss. And then you're just going to do 1, 2. So those are your that's what you'd want to do. Either shoot the first one from afar, or get right next to the wall and just go 1, 2 in sequence. Make sure to bring a full water bottle. All right. Very important, folks. Very important. So fight 3, we're going to have 2 Cyclops and 2 Raptors. fly practically directly at him, and then decoy. I recommend if someone is interested in improving this route, try to experiment with these fights. I think there might be, like with this one, some room for improvement with this strategy, but still. Decoy, boom, and then we're gonna fly in, spin, boom, and see how dumbfounded they get. That guy just needs a burst spin and a dash slash. These raptors, you can either do a burst slash or you can throw them into the wall, okay? Just depends on the position. So like that's good because I can recognize I don't need to orient myself at all. I don't have to change my angle. Boom, right into the wall. This guy, I'm just gonna do that because we're at a weird angle. You just have to evaluate this kind of stuff on the fly, all right? So again, and you see, that was beautiful. Sometimes they all just kind of sit there, and that is why we use a decoy. Sometimes the raptors will disperse, which is annoying, but if they're all clumped together, that is the money right there. Because those multi-spins increases our DPS, reduces our attacks, okay?
We have shot down the enemy.
And we're gonna fly it over this way. Next fight is a level 4 raptor and a level 5 raptor, okay? Level 5 raptor, as we've mentioned before, tends to block our stuff and be a nuisance, but they're just as dumb with the decoys. So we are going to drop a decoy up above. Don't drop it in the valley because they can throw geysers and destroy your decoy and also prevent you from doing this attack. So we're going to fly up like this. Boom. Fly up here. And that level 5 is history, okay? So drop the decoy above, fly down, throw the level 5 like that. Forgot to make a save state, so we're just going to do this one more time. Try to pay attention to the life meters, because then you can be like, oh, I did actually hit that guy. Because you can't really tell if you hit all the robots. Okay, now we have a save state. So it's worth it. And then this one, again, you can just throw in the wall and dash stab, or do a spin into a dash attack if you want. But the level 4s, they tend to not. Even if the decoy is gone, they'll just take a grab. So, boom, boom. Sometimes they can actually get out of the way of the dash stab after you throw them, but it's pretty uncommon. Then we're going to go to the left here. Again, fly over the river. We don't need to do that. And then we have one more fight, okay? One more fight. I will show the whole mountain sequence together because it's a lot. This is a series of fights. Once again, we're going to have a commander. And we're going to take out that level 5 raptor commander with our decoy, throw the raptor into the wall, dash stab, and then his friends are going to be weak. So, boom. Look for this guy. Now be aware that if the enemy takes out the decoy, you'll see a flash on screen. At that point, they're going to return to their normal AI. All right, that's why we want to position our decoys in such a way that the decoys just fade out after, I think, about 4 or 5 seconds versus getting destroyed. Okay? After we take out those two, we go through this mysterious door portal. And we go into the final boss rush. So, let's do the mountain all together, folks. Fly over here. Burst shot. Boom. This area took a lot of work. A lot of trial and error to try to figure out strats. And learning how good the decoys were really changed my whole attitude with this area. Okay. So they took it out, but it doesn't really matter. I got my goal, which is just getting the mummy head to get distracted. Boom. Boom. Fly out. Go to the left. Decoy. Oh, nice. Now. Boom. That was alright. Fly above. Decoy. Throw. Boom. Done. Go to the left. Trust me, these fights get really annoying if you don't use decoys. Boom. This is those 5 raptors. They just love messing with you. I wish... The thing that sucks about this game, unlike the sequel, there's no New Game Plus option where you have like all the sub-weapons equipped and all that. And you're like, get all the goodies. So, because if I did have the goodies, I can assure you I would be using the goodies throughout this whole game. But no luck. So if you need the Metatron, you get it here, more relevant on the higher difficulties. And we are now entering Nebula. So this is a little bit more of a tricky boss. A little bit more tricky. Phase 1 more than Phase 2. If you're starting out, this is what I recommend you do. Right at the start here. Because we only have a little bit of time to do damage here. Fly directly up and then start shooting. Just pew, 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 pew. Do that if you're starting out. If you want to improve your damage output, we fly up, shoot 1 barrage of the pew pew pew, burst shot while flying a little bit backwards. So we shoot, fly a little bit backwards, burst shot, and it just barely works, and we do a little bit more damage. So here we go. Hopefully I can get this. Just like that. So you see, that does a little bit more damage than just pew pew pewing. This is more relevant on the higher difficulties, but still beneficial on easy. So 2 cutscenes. Pew, 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 pew. You can block those attacks if you want. Or cut, save state here. So you see, like, you have to make sure you're at a nice enough height and a little bit further back, or else it's gonna fail. So it's a bit tricky. I don't recommend that starting out. Don't worry about that little bit of additional damage. You really don't need it on easy. But if you're doing very hard, you definitely want to. Okay, so Nebula is a little bit random here. He will fly out at some spot around the mountains here, and he can decide to either turn to the right or turn to the left. If he flies out from the dam, which is on Jehuti's right currently, all we're going to do is do 2 dash back. So dash back, dash back. If Nebula comes out anywhere near the mountains, so kind of where he is right now or over here, do 2 dashes back, but then do 3 dashes to the right. This is so we can set up 2 burst shots, okay? So let's see where he goes. Okay, he's going dam. So this is a lot easier. Just once you see that whole unit come in to the dam arena, fire. So fire. Go to the right. Boom. That's going to land, okay? If you don't pivot to the right, it can still work, but it's less consistent. So just pivot to the right and do another burst shot. Get some nice damage in. So this time, you actually decided to go left, see? You just need some distance to the right, and then you can fire again. After this point, we're going to just do pew pew pews because it's not consistent now that he's actually attacking us with his homing shots. These homing shots, the way we're going to try to avoid them is make circles. And then the homing shot's just going to kind of follow us constantly while we're doing orbit. Ideally, you don't get hit at all here, because if you get hit, you get hit stun, then you can't shoot. Not good. Okay, it's just a little optimization, but you see how I'm like spinning around? That's how you want to do that. That like laser light show happening, try to avoid that. What happens is it slowly rotates, and then it focuses into a point. The point does a lot of damage because it's a conjoining of all those lasers together. So just avoid that. You shouldn't have any issues with that here. So, okay, he's going mountain area. Boom. Charge. Boom. Fly out of the laser show. Circle, circle, circle. Not too bad. Phase 2 is a lot easier. Phase 1's the hard part. Charge a shot here. Okay. So there's a little audio cue there. You hear like a little click. It's the tentacles hitting the ground. There's also a visual cue, like where the tentacles reset. I prefer listening. If you'd rather just like pay attention, that's good too. But this burst shot is super important, folks. Super important, because if you don't land this, he is going to start attacking you. Not a good scene. If we hit this shot, he will be prevented from attacking us, and then we can attack him to our heart's content. So do not mess up the shot. It is very important. Listen for the click and then fire. Burst shots. He's gonna taunt us while we ruin his day. Those two shots right there are irrelevant. If you're at max health or like above 75%, this laser light show on easy is not relevant. So you can just take it. Otherwise, just move a little bit out of the way. Once again, wait for the click. Chain those shots together. You want to do 2 burst shots to end. The phalanx sub-weapon can actually one cycle. The problem is getting the phalanx is a bit of a chore. So you can save time in the fight, but in the total run you lose time, sadly. So we can't get the phalanx for that purpose. All right, so let's do it all together.
So here's our destination. Where's the entrance?
Nice. So pay attention where he goes. Okay, we're getting mountain, 2, 3. Oh, well, it happened, sadly. It was a bit of a weird angle. I could tell he was a little bit too directly above me. You don't have to go for the second burst shot, but it's just better. It's a little bit faster. So if you... Really, the first one is the one that's you should always go for, but click, and then 4 shots. You do not need to move. Just stand still. Those 2 shots are just for fun. And I'm gonna dodge it. No, try to dodge it. Just try to fill in the gap. And you want to be close to Nebula here, of course. Like, try to be close to him at the end. So if you dodge the shot, dodge the laser, just fly a little bit closer back in. So you can try to maintain your position. Just so the burst shot doesn't have to fly as far. Little optimization. Well, I guess I need to go talk to my mother. If you haven't talked to your mother in a while, suggest that. Nebula, you know, Nebula is a mama's boy. But he's now done.
Ready.
Okay. Game asks you to save. The moment after you say no, which You can press either up or down. Immediately skip cutscene. You can just do that like one after the other. You don't have to wait. So just a little optimization. So I'm just like, boom, and I immediately go into this fight. This is the worst fight in the game. This is going to require the most practice. Straight up. Sadly, that's just how it is. So Viola 2 or Nate, basically think of it like you're fighting yourself. She operates pretty similarly to Jehuti. We can't be decoying her to trick her. The optimal thing to do here is to do a chain grab. The chain grab is hard. It is hard. You have to be paying very close attention to the animation, and position matters and all that fun stuff. That's what we're going to try to do. Okay? So, try to go over this fight. What I suggest to do, if at all possible, is open with a dash shot, and then we're going to grab her and try to throw her into a box. The boxes do additional damage, or you can throw her into the wall. After we throw her into the box, we're going to fly forward and dash stab, just as a guarantee that we did enough damage to enter phase 2. Because sometimes the dash shot, one of the shots miss, and we have to finish her with a dash stab. So just always plan to do that. She can do a lot of different things. She has burst shots. Those do a lot of damage. She has these homing shots. She has that weird homing fireball thing. That can be blocked. The little pew homing shot can be blocked. The burst shot cannot be blocked. Don't block that. You have to dash. Let me get close. You'll see her charge. That attack, we can grab her right afterwards. We can grab her after she throws or in the middle of it. That's the thing you got to look out for, is her burst spin. So if that happens, back up or dash away. You cannot block that. It does 25% of your life. That's no joke, and she can kill you pretty quickly, even on easy. Okay? She has a combo as well. After she does that little pirouette, you can grab her. Okay? Right after that, boom. I timed it off a little bit. You can just hold her forever. You want to throw her into a box. Box angles depend on position. These boxes can be really annoying, but try to throw her directly into a box or into a corner. You're going to see, boom. Oh, that was a little bit far away. Blocking is really smart, because the blocking, you can just kind of wait her out until she is put herself into an open position. You can just try to like run up and YOLO grab, but I wouldn't really recommend it. Always go based off of her actions. She can do a whole lot of different things. She could just sit there. She could fly up. She could fly away. She can just go for burst shots. She can trick you out. You probably saw that a little bit earlier. Like, she was like bursting and trying to spin, but she was like faking you out. She is not simple. And that's why you're going to have to practice this fight, because this is like a legit one-on-one battle. Bro, she captures us. It's not real. Just skip it once it's done. Be aware that she can actually shoot you in between then. So just be aware of that. After you've done the damage, I would either block or just get out of the way, because she can't hit you. And you don't regain health between these phases. So phase 2, there's no difference from the phases. It's just that we have to go through that little cutscene. So it's the same fight. If you want to just practice your chain throws, try to get over to the wall. Eventually she'll decide to get over here. And see, she can chain throw you too. All right. So I'm going to try and demonstrate this. So pay attention. I think it's Jehuti's left arm. No, right arm. So you see, curves the arm around. I'll try to do this frame by frame. There's a frame where the arm is like past the chest, like it's now hidden. That is your cue to throw again. The other way you can look at it is look at Nate or Viola. If you look at her leg is now missing. It's like right after her leg goes down, then you can grab again. So pay attention to Nate. Like right then you can grab her again. It's very tight, but it's quite ideal if you can do this. So I really recommend just like getting over to this wall and practicing.
I should take you more seriously.
You can see that chain. It is not easy. Do not, if you struggle with this at first, don't beat yourself up because this takes practice. You can just fly over to the wall and practice like this. Ideally, we get her to the wall. The wall is just, it's very simple and there's no weird distance calculations. We can do the chain throws with the boxes, but you have to understand, you throw Viola, you have to get up to her. So that animation thing isn't, you have to now just sort of think about the timing, which is like, I don't know, about a second or so afterwards you need to grab. So like you dash forward and then you go for the grab again. If you want to just play it safe, after you've hit her into a wall or a box, just go for a dash stab. Okay? Let's see if I can do this. So that timing was off. If she does that little, that like split spin thing, you can grab her after that.
Damage to the surroundings increasing due to battle. Here's another one.
There we go.
I should take you more seriously.
You can throw her into the floor, but the angle can be a bit awkward. If you're at the floor and you don't think you have the angle, just throw her into a box because the box acts as a wall, and then dash forward and either do a dash stab or go for another grab, okay? Now you can do like burst shotting, but the problem is like she can counter it. It does good damage, but see, sometimes she's dumb and she just sits there, she's like, okay. So you can do this, but it's not very consistent, sadly. The other thing you can do is get like middle distance and like go for spins. Again, she can dash out of the way. You can see why grabbing is really the ideal thing to do. Now, both of those burst attacks do a lot of damage. And the burst slash, I would definitely suggest if she's burst slashing, right? Because you can dodge hers, get a little bit close, boom, do a lot of good damage. But the thing really to do here, folks, is practicing those throws. It is really your best bet on doing damage to this fight, or damage to this boss. Now you can actually grab in between that combo, but it is tricky. This is good. Like, I want her flying over here. Rotator.
How about this one? Here's another one.
I'll try getting out of the way.
Exceeding 50%.
Dashing is good.
Here's another one. Serious damage. I recommend you escape from this battle.
There we go. And see there, I was just like, okay, she's pretty low. At that point, you're like, all right, I'm low health. I'm going to do dash attacks instead. So there is a logic to this fight that you're going to have to work out by practicing it at the end of the day and understanding what her options are and what the gaps are in her attacks. This is the hardest fight in the game, folks, but if you master it, it's very rewarding. Blocking is smart, as long as she's not burst attacking. So if I'm like far away, I'd pay more attention to her animation of her legs than Jehuti, because I can't do the loop based off of the hand. The hands, I really like that loop, but it's only going to work if you're right at a wall or the floor or something.
I should take you more seriously.
And that's enough. So right after that, you just slash, boom. Okay. You could talk about that fight for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but let's just try to finish this tutorial off with Hub. Final area of the game. Alrighty. So once again, we have a save prompt, say no, and then you're gonna tap skip twice. All right, boom, boom. Something I didn't mention, but something that you can do at Nebula is just get out of decoy, because you don't want to accidentally decoy during the Viola fight. Just be aware that if you're ever trying to grab, make sure you're in grab range, because if you're not in grab range, you're going to decoy. You don't want to waste your decoys, okay? You can waste like one decoy on easy, it's okay. Just the one. All right, final area. See that panel on the left? Once that panel disappears, we're gonna decoy. Boom. These guys are just gonna be like, ooh, shiny decoy. And we're gonna spin slash. It's very important that we leave one of these guys alive. So if you accidentally spin both of them at first, don't spin again. We need to leave one of these guys alive. You do one split spin slash and 2 dash attacks. So if you just want to leave them barely alive, do a spin slash and then a dash attack. This guy is barely alive. We're going to switch to our sniper rifle and we're going to snipe the bomb. This is only possible on easy. You need to be above 75% HP. If your health bar is yellow, you can't do this, okay? So that's why maintaining our health is important. This is going to do a lot of damage to us. After this, we're going to take out the Cyclops and get our health back. So boom, dash stab, see? Nice and clean. Now we're going to fight 2 mummy heads. We're going to do the burst changing, take out this level 4, boom, boom. All right, fly forward, 1, 2, boom. Get ready for this one. So it's over in this direction. Snipe. Once you take out a bomb, then the scan for the next bomb begins. So we want to take out these bombs ASAP. Just keep this flow going of fighting an enemy, taking out a bomb, fighting an enemy, taking out a bomb. After we take out this bomb, it's going to automatically lock us back onto this mummy head that we didn't kill. Boom, dead. Now we're going to switch back to decoy. We have some high-level raptors, but high-level raptors ain't no thing when we got that decoy swing. So boom. 1, 2, 3. You don't take them out, that's fine. Boom. Now this last group, or second to last group, is no big deal. They're weak level 1s. So we just go for 1, boom. Mummy head, boom. This guy likes to hang out in the back. He's gone. And if you're fast enough, you're literally just going to sit here. That's how good these decoys are. And then we have the final bomb. If you do the bomb last, it actually initiates the next cutscene sooner, but you're at lower health. So if you're just being safe, you'll lose a couple seconds in theory, but I would suggest just sniping first if you're new to this game. So just, snipe, and then, hey, look at this decoy, level 6 Cyclops. Hey. So So you can do 2 spins and then a dash stab, and it's great. He'll just fly towards the decoy. You can meet him as he's going, so just kind of intercept. He'll fly towards it. And then you attack him while he's flying towards it. Burst spin, burst sling, and then dash stab, and that's it. It's supposed to be the hardest enemy in the game. Not so hard with the decoy. All right, and we're fighting Viola again, but thankfully it's not as bad. She attacks a little bit differently because her suit is completely wrecked. But we are going to loop her again. This loop isn't quite as hard. There's a few things we're looking for here. That double vine hit, boom, boom. Once you hear the second hit, boom, then you can go for a grab. So, oh, she actually grabbed me. That's cool. Oops, I mistimed it. There we go. And then either hit her on the tube. Just a little awkward, but it can be done. Or throw her against the wall. And we're just gonna loop her again. So it's not as complicated. Problem with the tube, like tube can kind of get in the way. You see, like I can't quite get this angle's a little bit awkward. But the frame window for the grab is way more forgiving compared to Viola 2. So if she does that big swing, you can go for a grab. Boom. She takes a lot more damage. But yeah, that fight really isn't too big of a deal. Just try to get her to the wall if you can, or throw her against the tube. You can dodge these attacks, so boom. Again, pay attention to the hand or her animation. Boom. And that's that. Now you may think this is a boss fight, but it actually isn't. We do nothing. You've actually completed the game. Good job! We can't fight Anubis. You fight him in the sequel.
50%.
He can't actually kill you. So you can just sit here, mess around. We have one more input we need to do, folks.
The ultimate orbital frame. Symbol of
If you want to try to snipe him with your ancient sniper rifle, you can. You can dodge. You just wait a minute.
finished.
He's going to say, it's impossible for you to kill me.
It's impossible for you.
And after that, there's going to be a cutscene. Once you see that camera change, just press start to skip. And then about 15 seconds after that, we are going to have our time. Boy, oh boy. That's Zone of the Enders, folks. The whole enchilada. Right when the screen turns black, that's time. Then we get an IGT. Wow, 50 minutes, a new record. Just kidding, folks.
Want to practice in order to get, used to it.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't really give a run evaluation, but I think this is a pretty decent run to get into. It's short. It has some randomness, but not an excessive amount. There's nothing too complicated. It's really just applying the concepts of the combat depending on the encounter. Really, the hardest part of this run is that Viola 2 fight. 100%. That is the hardest part of this run. But if you can get that down consistently, use those block strats, be patient, you're smooth sailing. Starting out, everything else is just okay, understand how every encounter works. And as I laid out in this tutorial, you can have very consistent approaches and strategies. There's some risky stuff, but frankly, Once you get a handle on how Jehuti works, it should be okay.
Yeah. So I didn't see any questions in chat. If anybody has any questions about anything in the run, now's the time to ask.
Yeah, now's a good time.
Myself, I didn't feel like I had any questions. I feel like you explained everything extremely well. And like I said, there wasn't anything like super complicated.
Nope.
So I think, great job at explaining. First
Thank you.
and foremost.
Thank you. I go above and beyond, folks. But
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, fundamentally, what you see is actually pretty straightforward. I would say, again, like, it's really that Viola fight where the intricacies of the combat really come alive, and understanding how that AI, because that is the most complicated AI in the game by far. So, no, I don't want to save.
Now, you were, so I'm not seeing any questions in chat. You did want to do a run of this as well. Did you still want to take a break before we do that run?
Yeah, I'll take a bathroom break and relax a little bit before we get into a legitimate full-on run.
So we are going to take a quick break, folks, just to give Plywood and everybody else just a quick break after that. Before we go to the break, just a few reminders. Your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bitch cheered on the GDQ chat. Oh my god, my vocabulary did not come back during the tutorial. All of that goes to support Games Done Quick, both with hotfix and the AGDQ 2023 costs, so please consider subscribing if you enjoy the daily GDQ content. Also, if you want to follow what Games Done Quick has been up to, you can use exclamation links in chat, and that will bring up a link that'll show you all of the things that GDQ is up to right now. With that said, we'll be back in just a few minutes here with a full run of Zone of the Enders. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is How to Train a Speedrunner, and we are here with Zone of the Enders, and we are going to be seeing a quick run through of the game, an 80% run, just to follow up the tutorial. We still have Plywood here. How are you doing after that break, Plywood?
Woo! It was a fun tutorial. I'm looking forward to doing the full run for you folks and doing a little bit more of a fun little just talking about the game and how I got into it. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to it as well. Whenever you're ready, we're ready with the timer. So
sweet. So let us begin in 3, 2, 1, go. All right. So Zone of the Enders. This is a game from my childhood. I have been planning on running this game for legitimately years. I've been wanting to run this game because I have a lot of nostalgia for this game. I also quite like the sequel. I think it's the better game for sure, but very much appreciate this game. So that's how I got into it, is I played it as a kid.
And that's, I feel like a lot of speedrunners do, speedrun a lot of games from their, childhood. It's just, games that they really loved.
Yeah, and this is a game that really lends itself to speedrunning just because of how short it is. The sequel's like twice as long. Ooh, 40 minutes. 40-minute run. Very long, but by the comparison of this game, it is quite long. So nice clean Viola 1, getting past her and throwing her. I'll try to, do a little bit of a walkthrough stuff as we go along, folks. And now you can see how everything works in together. So we do a nice little rotation here to do a burst shot. I was considering running this on HD for any of those wondering, but with the additional load times, it helps with explanations, so that's why we're doing it like that.
The passcode.
Boom. Swing into this program.
We have obtained the program.
Skip. Oops. And then go out. Have our first boss fight. Very simple. For those wondering what I usually run, I run a lot of Konami games, mostly Metal Gear, but I've run a lot of Konami games. Silent Hill, of course, this game, Sparkster, other Konami stuff I've run. Very easy Tempest. Get up in his face. Chain those burst shots. Done. We have a couple of cutscenes to skip here. And a couple more here. And we get into our first commander fight. But yeah, I mean, I talked about the run for about 2 hours, and I've been working on this run for I'm doing stuff with this run for about a month or so. So you can see where, like, if you mess up the timing there, sometimes those guys will block. You really have to make sure you're backing the immediately dash shot for that third guy. And, you know, I was using a mixture of looking at the runs that already existed and then just trying a lot of stuff out. That is really the wonderful power of an emulator when it comes to testing things. It helps so much versus testing on hardware. All right, here we go. Here's a tricky part. Hopefully get it.
We have destroyed a portal.
Should do it.
We have
Nice.
destroyed a portal.
Take out the traffic signals. Ooh, traffic engineering.
Destroyed a portal.
Jehuti does not care about traffic. We make our own traffic.
We have obtained the
All right, we got our sniper rifle. Let's get out of here. Nice and clean, sneaky, sneaky. This is actually a stealth game. And now we do our sniping sequence. Immediately skip. Oops. Thankfully, I can miss shots. Boom. Again, on HD, we can just constantly shoot because the tube is not a physical barrier, but not so on PS2. And now we go to EPS2. And we do this whole sequence. This part of the run is about 5-ish minutes. Fly to the right, get out of that encounter, and start angling ourselves down. Looping in. Skip 2 cutscenes. Skip 2 cutscenes. Fly around that rock, like so. L1 to escape. And now we fight our friends, the Cyclops. This third one is being a tricky customer. There we go. Wait for the little green lights to change. I went up. That's the HD version. I don't do runs on emulator because it's slower. And I'm just like, oh, menu different. Ah. But now we have the triple mummy encounter. This is a real choke point at high levels, this fight. Just because sometimes they are uncooperative. Try to fly directly with our icon right at the pedestrian bridge. Chain. This is a good spread, I think. Yep. Look at that. Beautiful. The old strat, like, you would, like, push them away and with, like, dash shots and then take them out one by one. It's really messy. That strategy saves 7 seconds over the old strategy if done properly. There's a lot of things that I've implemented. Not everything. There's still some stuff that has stuck around, but I really tried to look at this game top to bottom to see what I could figure out, what I could make more consistent. When I talked to some of the runners previously, this game had a little bit of a reputation of being super annoying with the luck. And I was like, okay, well, what can we do to make that less of a problem? And thankfully, I have very much done that, especially with the implementation of decoys near the end of the run. The truth of the matter is, the best thing to do with speedrunning is not to play better, it's to play smarter. And I'm not saying the other runners are dumb or anything like that. It's just the routing really, really matters. So if you can just do things differently, it's a lot easier than just having to play better.
We have shot down the enemy.
And
Yeah, and like,
Position.
go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, having new eyes on a game definitely helps with that. Like, you know, they just, you know, maybe they didn't think of whatever it was that you added. Well, I mean, you said what you added, but like, you know, they just didn't think of it. You know,
Exactly.
And it,
Down the enemy. We will cease
you know, it's just sometimes it's that one extra person that, you know, comes in and is like, hey, what about this?
And something I always try to emphasize to anyone who's learning based off of tutorials or information that I come out there with is that I am no different from you. You can find stuff out, even unintentionally. Don't ever hold yourself to some kind of weird standard because everyone is capable of contributing. And with a game like this, which is not like the most active game, I assure you, you can find things. And that's really one of the things I love about speedrunning is the collaborative nature of it. It is not a traditional kind of esport thing. I mean, you know, if you have like teams in esports, like sure, like there's collaboration there, but it's really all the players versus the game more than the players against the players in my book. So
Yeah,
Shot down the
for sure.
enemy. We will cease battle position.
I think the great thing about speedrunning is that it is, like, yes, it is competitive in the sense that, you know, usually you want to go for that world record or, you know, you're trying to, you know, compete against yourself and get that PB. But it does boil down to it is a community of people who are all trying to push the game to a certain
Exactly.
spot instead of, you know, just trying to get myself ahead of everybody else. It's very much a let's see what we can do, not a let's see what I can do kind of mentality.
100%. And I find a lot of enjoyment and pleasure out of routing,
Position.
more so than like just grinding. You can see why you want to be in the center of that. Grinding out record, I don't really care about that. I mean, it's nice to take the time down, but just grinding and grinding and grinding and trying to like push. It's can be good, but there's a certain limitation on that versus just trying to explore new things. And that's been something that I've enjoyed more and more as I've run more games. I've been running now for, now it's going to be 6 years I've been running. So yeah, if you're going to be running for a really long time, you have to allow yourself to have some sort of longevity in it, and exploring new games really helps with that for me. So no, I've not been running this game for long, but in the course of a month, off and on, in between real life stuff, I've had a good time with it. So, all right, let's do the more consistent strat for everyone. Boom.
We have shot down the enemy. We will cease battle.
One thing I didn't mention, but it should be fairly obvious, like go to the bottom of the gates when you're exiting, because that's where they release.
Yeah.
I didn't figure that one out. I think most people figure that one out pretty easily, but it's like, oh, go to the bottom.
Sometimes it's the smallest things that you overlook, you know?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's very true. That is so, so true. All right. We're about to get shot down with a virus. It's very fun. Ada's voice patterns get affected once she's infected with the virus, and the effect is different between Japanese and English. The one thing that's disappointing, though, is that it doesn't affect like the typical combat voice. That would have been a really nice touch.
Yeah.
She sounds normal, but she should sound completely distorted and whacked out. She should be talking about orange juice or something. I can give you 13 clear-cut reasons if you want me to. It's something she says. And Leo's like, what are you talking about? What? Like, huh? Ada, you're messed up.
I don't know what's going on right now.
I don't know what's going on.
We have shot down the enemy.
I'm gonna get that little FPV rotation. Boom. Skate out. Turn to the left. So if you did this second, the sniping second, there would be squads in the way as we go for this decoy ammo. This is why we want to do this first. It's a much more direct line. All right, 2 cutscenes here. Go to City 2. All right. In between the buildings. You don't want to do this on higher difficulties. Going in between the buildings. Ooh. Ow. Don't do that.
We have shot down the enemy.
Another cool thing about this game that I didn't mention, but the music is dynamic. So like if you block, that's going to change the song. If you grab, that changes the song. Very cool touch. Fun launch era game. Stuff like that.
We will hold battle position. We have shot down.
Spin. Spin.
Enemy backup force is approaching our location.
It was a bit of a weird spot. I didn't quite know where I was, but it's all good.
Of the battle zone.
Ooh, baby. Come on. All right.
We have obtained the passcode.
That's all right.
We will
We turn to the left. Go to factory. Another cool thing, if you go back to Park after you defeat Tyrant, you can pick up the Mummy armor, and the song there is completely unique if you go back to the park after defeating the Tyrant.
Oh, okay. That's really interesting.
Yeah, I was just like, here's the song for an area like, who the hell is gonna be there? But, you know, okay, sure.
Yeah.
A lot of interesting touches in this game, even though it's very, very short. And a lot of the things in this game get fleshed out in the sequel. So even if you're not interested in running this game, do try these games out. They are kind of sleeper hits, kind of overlooked at this point, and the PC version of Zoe 2 is quite good. Sadly, there is no PC version of this game. They actually, fun fact, redid the remake. Like another company redid it because there were issues in the conversion originally. And they did that for the second game, but not for the first, for PS3. That's why we don't want to run on PS3, along with the slower load times compared to, you know, an Xbox Series. Boom. Easy fight. 2 cutscenes. Mountain. Endgame. Now we go through the gauntlet.
We have shot down.
Oh, I actually got him. I Didn't look like I got that raptor, but I totally did. All right.
We have obtained the item.
Little tippy tap up. Let's hit the panel. And now we're going to start using our decoys. 1 slash, boom. Slash, boom.
We have shot down the enemy. We have obtained the Megatron ore. We will cease.
Very nice. This part is fun, but it's been a headache, a thorn in my side the whole time I've been routing this game.
We have shot down the
Okay.
enemy.
Not bad.
We will cease battle position.
Go for another decoy. Ooh. It's okay if we waste one.
We have shot down the enemy.
That guy just ended up flying awkwardly. And sometimes this level 4 actually tries to block our throws.
Shot down the enemy. We have obtained the Megatron.
Usually not, but you know, these guys still can throw you for a loop. Oh, that's not good. So unfortunately, because they took out my
We have shot down
decoy, I had to go for backup strats, but went okay. All right. So for the sake of not just showing off, actually, you know what? I'll go for showing off, and if I fail, then you can see the backup. All right, let's see if we can do this. All right. Now we show off the back up if you missed that shot, which is just doing more. It's good practice. There we go. So yeah, you just want to do like circles. They will just keep on tracking you. And get off the decoy because I don't want to accidentally do it during Nath. It's very bizarre that he's insulting us while we're cleaning his clock, but okay. He's saying that because we were literally a child, so. Boom. 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 This is the fight that lags really hard on PS3. You lose like 30 seconds on that fight, no joke. All right. What do you got for me, Nate?
This one. I should take you more seriously.
Pretty good. Pretty good. Glad I could demonstrate that for all of you.
We have shot down the enemy.
I just want to butter that guy up.
Damage index exceeding 50%.
And I just like get myself lined up here. Oh, I'm screwing up. Yeah, you don't want to accidentally charge. I was like charging on the wrong target, and that caused you have to lock onto the other one, then switch. It's okay though. I'm just demonstrating mistakes. That's how this works. Boom. So I'm gonna save this decoy for the final guy. Oops, I can't see. Ah, stop! Ah, I can't shoot through that. You gotta be careful, like, if you are at low health, you see how that does a lot of damage. That's why wasting decoys is very bad.
We have shot down the enemy. We have obtained the Megatron ore.
Ooh, he actually he actually did a burst attack. Well, if that fails, then you just go for dash attacks. It's pretty simple.
Down the enemy.
Thanks for showing me backups, Hub. It's nice. It's good. It's actually what I want to do in a tutorial run. What are you doing? Come on. All right, there we go. Get her to the wall. So you really got to wait for that audio cue, the whap, the second whap. Whack, whack. Ooh. That's really the last fight. And you get to the final boss and you're just like, now I can relax. So, yeah, time will happen when the screen turns black. It'll happen after he goes, it's impossible for you to kill me. And then 15 seconds later it happens. It's like a minute and 1 second we have to wait. But you can do goofy stuff with Anubis here. You can get him stuck behind a wall and hit you. But I just hang out over here, because then I can see very easily the camera flip for the cutscene. It's a lot more obvious. But yeah, there's like a spot over here where they'll just attack you through the wall. And
this is just kind of like a relaxing minute at the end of a run.
Yeah, you did it all.
Break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, think about that for a moment with this run. So on current world record, I have a 2046, if I recall correctly. And I think you could probably cut another 30 seconds-ish, whatever. But 1/20th of the run is literally nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing, right? So in terms of learning this game, that's a whole minute you do not need to worry about, that's nice, especially right. You'd rather have that at the end of a run than the start of the run, right?
Absolutely.
So as far as the structure goes,
you go ahead.
no, go ahead. I was just saying, like, structure. It's so nice.
Yeah. Having a minute at the end of a run to just like kind of, de-stress and just like relax, especially if you're doing multiple runs in a row, like just having that minute of like, okay, it's over, I'm done, here we go kind of thing is really nice.
Yes, absolutely. And so that was, based off the IGT, that must have been around 23 minutes, which is actually not that bad. I didn't know how bad the loads were. And, I let the cutscenes play a little bit, so that's actually pretty good for emulator. If you're starting out on emulator, probably expect like a 30-minute run, high 20, low 30. And with a little bit of practice, I assure you can bring that time down. And hey, I did a lot of the groundwork for you. So, and not only me, I have to give a few shout outs to Tapioca, who was the world record holder before I started running, Sephiroth Crescent, and Daisy Fans, who are the top three. Looking at their runs helped me a lot, just getting some knowledge and information about the game. People have been running this game for a while, but it's just been a bit of a sleeper run. And now with Xbox Series, you can buy, I don't know what the price is. It's probably like $15 or something without sales, 15 or $20. Get a Series S, download the game, and play both Zoe 1 and Zoe 2 in one package. And Zoe 2 is a cool game. If you thought this game was fast, wait until you play Zoe 2. That game has particles and zippy zoopy out the wazoo. So, very cool.
So, real quick, I noticed that you do have a Discord for the game. If people have questions about the game, they can go there, ask the questions.
100%. Feel free to drop into the Zoe Discord. I'm there. People, most of the activity in the Zoe community is around Zoe 2. Would love to see some more runners of this game. There's not actually any runs or routing for the GBA game, but that is in its own. It's like Advance Wars or Fire Emblem. It is completely different, you know.
Oh,
Right. Yeah, it is a completely different game compared to the two mainline games. So
okay.
I don't know if I'm going to route that though. Routing RPGs is a bit heavy.
Yeah, it's a completely different ball game.
Yes.
There is a lot of work that goes into those.
Yes. 100%.
One thing I typically ask everybody who's on the show, do you have, not necessarily for this game, but just any tips for people getting into speedrunning, people who haven't done a speedrun before but are looking to get into it?
It's a very, very good, broad question. I'd say like top 5 things if I'm just going to hit these real quick. Pick a game you like. Pretty obvious, but if you don't like playing the game, you should not run it, okay? Especially if it's your first run. Pick a game you enjoy playing because that will make you more interested in playing it more. Typically pick a game that's shorter, not longer, okay? 30 minutes to an hour, good sweet spot starting out. 20 minutes, hey, here's a fairly short run. Really short runs can be a bit annoying and frustrating. Super long runs are a bit more of a commitment. So try to find a sweet spot with that. Find a community, find people. If there's a game that has been run before, people can be encouraging. They can provide resources, saves, tools, especially with PC games, that can help you improve more quickly. Especially with stuff like emulators. If you can access an emulator and use save states, super helpful. And, have realistic expectations. Don't put yourself to a wild standard. Start slow. You don't become incredible overnight. That's not how things work. You have to work at something and just take every little improvement as it comes. When I started running, just the simple fact of like, okay, I started running with Silent Hill 1. Just the simple fact of like, okay, I beat one person, even though I was on the bottom of the leaderboard. And, I was very new to the game. Just the simple fact of like, okay, I saved another 20 seconds or 10 seconds in this run was a much better way to step than being like, I need to be top 5 or whatever, because that can set yourself up for disappointment. So be realistic and just have fun with it.
Yeah, I think all of those points are really good, but that last one is an extremely important one. Like, speedrunning is like any other hobby, and it takes time to get good at it. So don't expect to get world record in a competitive game overnight.
100%. Or pick games that are not like super. If a game doesn't really have a route or no one's run it and you care about it, go for it. Because then it's really just like a personal pursuit, And it's good to have people to bounce ideas off of, certainly. But at that point, there are really no expectations. It's whatever you put into it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That is another great point. Sometimes, it depends on, the person. Like, maybe jumping into a game that has a very structured, route already is the best for you. And maybe sometimes it's like, let's see what I can do to, I've watched other people speedrun. I know kind of the fundamentals of speedrunning. What can I do to apply to this game that I really like that nobody's done before?
Absolutely.
I don't. So I had a lot of questions, and then you answered a lot of them during that run. So I no longer have a lot of questions.
I just went leapfrogging, checkmate already on this interview.
Yeah, you 8-move pre-moved me.
Well, I guess I can just expand on what you were just talking about with looking, because I've done routing of games that other people have not looked at before that are kind of niche games. I would consider this one of them. I mean, there was a route, but I tried to just completely look at everything, right? I completely routed an RPG. I've completely routed a survival game. Various other things, mostly on my own. But the thing is, understanding the fundamentals is good, but time is one of your best assets. Over time, you may think you figured something out, and then 6 months pass, a year passes, maybe someone else runs a game, they find some stuff out. But just coming back to something later can be all the difference. And you're like, I didn't think about this because you were so focused on ABC, but you didn't look at GHI. And that can completely change the game. So, you don't need to cram everything in at once. It's not so bad with a game like this because it's so short. I can look at a lot of things, but even then, there's still little details you can look at. The fine print. So if you do go into routing, which I think is a lot of fun, don't pressure yourself too much to be it has to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Everything is going to be refined over time. Even things that people thought were perfect at one point are wow, how are we going to do this better? And then something happens, someone comes along, and they just completely flip the script. So just be along for that ride, and it's going to be a lot more fun than trying to stress yourself out over being oh my God, if I don't find every little 1 second, 5 second time save, it's no. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that is the most important thing, is to have fun. If you're not having fun, you should, either figure out why you're not having fun and fix that, or if you can't figure out that, pick something else. Don't force yourself to do something you're not having fun with. Somebody
Absolutely.
in chat is asking, what is routing? Routing is the kind of the term that speedrunning has speedrunners have adopted. It's basically your plan or your script. This is what I am going to do to beat the game as fast as possible. So,
Yep.
if, for example, the route for this game would be I'm going to go here, I'm going to do this. When I get into this fight, I'm going to do these steps to kill the enemies.
Yep. It's all just route, think of it like a map. You plot out your points and how you're going to go from A to B. So that's routing. It's a very good question. And it just as a reflecting point on if it's not for you, there's a lot. If you like speedrunning and just as a general thing, you think it's cool, don't feel like you have to do one thing or another thing to be involved with speedrunning as a thing. You could be a glitch hunter. You could do volunteering for organizations like Games Done Quick or other marathons. All kinds of cool stuff. You don't have to just be I have to get world record in this game. No. If everyone was like that, speedrunning would be a worse place. And I don't mean that in a mean way. It's just true because people contribute in all kinds of cool ways.
Absolutely. Glitch hunters, there are a few in some of the games I run that, basically the reason we have the speed run is because they did glitch hunting, and they've, they've like done a run or two to like kind of showcase it, but they've never really done runs of the games they glitch hunt in. They just find all of these glitches and go, here you go, everybody. Have fun with this.
Exactly.
And yeah, like without them, like the one game I'm thinking of would be like 2 hours longer, and it's already a 2 hour run,
And that sort of thing is super valuable. And just to bring it back to this game, if someone could figure out a way to go out of bounds in Mountain, that would be a pretty substantial thing potentially. And I believe it might be possible with one of the sub weapons to. I know you can at least get a little bit of height. I don't know if you can go out, but if it was possible, it'd be super cool. So don't ever feel like you can't contribute in other ways, because people can be extremely grateful for, programming tools, creating auto splitters, or finding glitches. And you can really leave a mark on a community and people who really appreciate a game in that way. And really, at the end of the day, I think that's what speedrunning is about, is game appreciation and connecting with others. So if you like Zoe, well, I do too, and we can contribute in our own ways. So.
Do you have anything else you would like to touch on before we, end the show here?
Well, thank you for reaching out to me for doing this, because this is a sort of thing that is super up my alley. I really love doing tutorials and teaching people about speedruns. So I appreciate that. Definitely check out any future broadcasts of this series, because it is one of those things where you really don't know what kind of seeds you're planting when you create tutorials and information. That can have a cascading effect and a domino effect in ways that you never really planned. So thank you for doing this kind of thing, because I think it's so valuable to have this kind of show and promoting people doing this for others.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you so much for, being on the show. Like you said, the reason I started this show is because I love speedrunning. I've been speedrunning for, 8 years at this point. And the more people that are in the community, I feel like that's when games get really good, is not when it's just a few people. And I'm not saying, smaller communities can't be fun, but it's when you have, the active runners, you have people in it, that's when speedrunning is really fun, when you have a, engaged active community. And I want to, try and get as many people into speedrunning as possible, because this is a hobby that I've loved for, almost a decade at this point, and, all of the people I've met at events all love speedrunning, and I want to help, bring some of these games to people and, get more people into speedrunning. And I really enjoy being able to, talk to runners like you who are super passionate, super engaged in their game. You taught very well. You explained everything very, accurately, concisely, in a way that was extremely easy to understand. So thank you so much for being on the show and, spreading your knowledge and joy or enjoyment of the game with everybody.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you. It was awesome. And folks, remember that if you think wow, maybe that can be me, absolutely. Absolutely. It can be you. And that is, as people come and go out of the hobby, life decisions and priorities change. That is that passing of the baton. And it is a valuable thing. So look at what really scratches that itch for you and just go for it. I mean, GDQ provides a lot of awesome opportunities for that sort of thing, and tons of other events and organizations do that as well. Getting your feet wet, super valuable. So I'm sure we're all looking forward to AGDQ. Gosh, it's going to be 23. I was about to say 22, but this year's about to be over.
Yeah. Time flies.
Certainly does. I guess I'll shout out my channel. If you I don't stream quite as much as I used to, but if you want to watch me on Twitch, twitch.tv/plywood_. You can also find my YouTube channel and Twitter, Plywood Gaming. Upload VODs, do a little bit of social media stuff here and there. But definitely check out the Zoe community if you want to ask questions. If you're interested in the run, feel free to reach out there.
Awesome. So with that said, again, thank you so much for being on the show. Definitely check out more Plywood stuff. And again, Plywood said, if you liked the game, check it out. I've actually never heard of this game, but this looks like a super, fun game. This is the kind of thing I wish I had played back in the day.
Yeah. Church, you gotta try. You got to do the duology because you thought this was cool. Zoe 2, it's like multiply it by like 3.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I gotta look into this then.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. So
maybe that'll be the show in the future.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That game has some. It's twice as long. It's like 40 minutes. Whoa. And it has a PC port. Let's go. Ooh. Yeah.
Let's go.
Don't need to buy an Xbox. I do like my Xbox, but being able to buy a game on Steam, a little bit more convenient. So
definitely. Well, it's a lot more accessible for sure.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. With all that said and done, we should wrap it up. It is getting a little bit late here. We do not have any more show for you tonight, but we do have more content tomorrow. We will have Challenger Approaching starting at 7 p.m. Eastern, which is going to be followed by Grudge Match. What's Faster normally is supposed to air tomorrow, but it's taking a break, and it'll be back at its regular slot in 2 weeks with Grudge Match afterwards. We are going to take a quick break while we look for a raid target. So if you wouldn't mind just sticking around during the raid so we can find, somebody who's speedrunning and help cheer them on, that would be great. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and have a great night, everyone. And thank you so much, Plywood.
Thank you.